Good evening and welcome into 93.7 The Ticket's coverage of high school football. Austin Orman, Rudy Grace with you here at 1040 O Street for a little while. We sent it out to Seacrest Field. Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman will be on the call. Fantastic matchup on tap for you tonight. A top 10 matchup per the Omaha World Herald rankings in Class A. It's number 4 Omaha Creighton Prep. They put their 2-0 record on the line at Seacrest Field. They'll take on, similarly, 2-0, number 8 Lincoln Southeast. The Knights are 56-9 in the point differential so far this year. Creighton Prep outscoring opponents 12 touchdowns to 5. That is 84-35 for those of you keeping track at home. 402-464-5685. Tell us if you're on the road to high school football, if you had an afternoon game that you watch, you're on the way home from it, whatever it is. Would love to hear from you, your thoughts on the state of Nebraska high school football right now as we enter week 3 of the season. Here's what we're going to do on the show. Here in the first segment, going to give you a little bit of a recap of last week. What did you miss? And a couple games already in the books from Thursday night earlier this week. Second segment of the show, we'll take you through what you need to know for this week, including some pretty major news out of the city of Millard. Millard South could be in a little bit of trouble, a little bit of a delicate dance with them and the NSAA. Some breaking news out of the Millard South football program, but we will get to that when the time is appropriate. Speaking of number 1 Millard South, all class number 1 pretty much by every rating. College talent up and down that roster. Had a really good week last week. They blasted crosstown rival Millard West. Sorry, Tristan, you're a boy, but was not going your guys' way last week. Final score, Patriots 65, Wildcats nothing. But Wildcats not necessarily alone in their shutout misery, as Millard North took on Cherry Creek, Colorado, and it was the visitors from Colorado who laid a whooping on Millard North. Final score of 42-0. So Millard South does indeed win the point differential for the city of Millard, but they put the entire city on their backs, outscoring Cherry Creek by 23 points, but only one Millard team scored a point last week. I would wager all 3 Millard teams end up scoring this week. Last week at halftime, I told you that Columbus was up 35-0 on Westside. That's how Max Preps had that one reported, to the shock of many. Well, to no surprise, that is not actually what happened. Number 2 Westside had no issues with Columbus. Warriors take down the Discoverers. Final score of 42-0. Really good matchup out there in nearly central Nebraska, as some of you would say. Kearney shuts out Grand Island 27-0. Tough sledding in the early going for the Islanders. Bearcats, I believe, creep into the back half of the Omaha World Herald top 10. Indeed, Stu Pospisil has them at number 10. The Bearcats off to a 2-0 start, outscoring their opponents 65-0. Still yet to give up a point on this young season. Even Millard South has given up a few points. They gave up a touchdown in week 1. So Kearney might be the last team in Class A to give up a point. We'll see who they have coming up tonight when we move on throughout the show. Lincoln East beat North Platte 24-0. That was the Spartans' first win of the year a week ago today. North Platte dropped to 0-2 on the year. Omaha North outlasted Papillion La Vista South on the road. North went in and beat the Titans 27-21. The final, I believe both of those teams are in the Omaha World Herald's top 10. Yeah, North now 1-1. Big opening season loss for them, but they respond in a big way. So they're 1-1, negative point differential, but ranked number 5 in Class A. And Papio South drops after the loss, but remains in the top 10. They're at number 9, still outscoring opponents by 21 points on the year. Moving along through Class A action, number 5 Elkhorn South held off Bellevue West at home, 24-17 storm over the Thunderbirds. It was Omaha Central all over Omaha South, 63-0. South was the road team in that game. Lincoln High got a win last week. They beat Omaha Northwest 34-6. And the 2 teams on tap tonight. Creighton Prep beat Burke 42-0 last week. They visit Lincoln Southeast tonight. Lincoln Southeast 2-0 on the year. They beat Lincoln Southwest, final score of 26-9 at Seacrest Field last week. All right, moving on to Class B. Omaha Scott blowout loss to open the year against Norris. How would the Skyhawks respond? Well, they do it in a big way. They come back, they beat Standing Bear 35-7. How about Norris? Huge win over Omaha Skutt to open up the year. A win that moved them up in the top 10 ratings, again, according to the Omaha World Herald. Norris now sitting at number 2. They've opened the year up 2-0. Norris responded in a big way as well. After the big win over Skutt, they put up a lot of points and beating Gretna 52-35. That would be a top 25 in the state matchup between those two teams. Waverly, another story in the early going. Waverly held on to beat Seward in a one-score game. It was 28-20 Vikings last week following up their win over Bennington. Rudy, we'll loop you in here on this one. I'm a Class C guy, the third class in Nebraska. Always have been, always will be. But I know you're from Big 12 country, from SEC country down there. I have a lot of respect for Big 12 basketball and a lot of respect for Big East basketball, like old-fashioned, like 2007 to 2011 Big East basketball. I just love how all these teams hate each other for some reason. And it seems like any way you turn, you're going to get a good game. That's exactly how I feel about Nebraska Class B year in, year out. Not the Class A where it's always the depth of talent, but any given night, you never know. I am all about Class B football. What's that like in Texas? Is there like a range there?
Yeah. So what we have down there, we have classes as well, but it's more like 5A, 6A, 4A. And so the bigger the number, the bigger the school, basically. And so the rivalries, they'll carry over regardless. So like even if I went to a 5A, we were playing 6As just to keep the rivalry going. Luckily enough, our rivals were in the same class, so we had that matchup every single year. And like it was cool because like the same way that I gets talked about here, like those rivalries carry over, the Millard battles, all that is the exact same down in San Antonio. But it's something that it's interesting to see because when I got here, I had to learn all the classes too, and I'm still learning all that. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's cool because I was always under the impression that like Texas does it best in my opinion, but then I got here and I was like, okay, like it's just as competitive. It all looks the same, which is awesome to see. So I think it's real similar, but there's obviously going to be some differences everywhere. The size difference is probably what I've noticed, maybe just the most, at least like in terms of you'll see bigger linemen here, but you'll see bigger wide receivers, bigger running backs back home. So it's just little things like that. But I still just see football as football, and I love Nebraska high school football too. So it's awesome.
I will give you credit that Texas does do it bigger.
Yes.
I will not necessarily admit to better. You went to a 5A high school?
Yes.
5A? Okay, who were your rivals? We got to know.
Yeah, so I went to Southwest Legacy High School, and our rival was Southwest High School. So we were probably, I want to say, like 10 minutes away from each other, one trip on the highway, and you're there.
Let's go.
And it was cool because my freshman year in 2017 was the first year that school had ever opened. And so
okay, pause. You were a freshman in 2017. I graduated in 2016.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm old. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, yeah. So it was like that. Like it's a lot of art. Like when I was growing up through middle school, it was like, okay, I'm going to go to Southwest. And then the new school opened and I was like, redistrict there. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to Legacy now. And it's like, as soon as that happened, it was like, yeah, we don't mess with the Dragons. We don't care about them. All this stuff. Like my school is the Titans. So every team that had beat Southwest in any sport, they were called the Dragon Slayers. And so like, yeah, I think it took us 3 years to do it in football, but it ended up happening at some point. Yeah, it happened when I was there, and that's all that matters.
Love it. So, yeah. Love it. I'm a Lincoln Lutheran kid. Our rival's Lincoln Christian. Not super far across town, little bit of a jaunt. The trophy every year, it's a sword.
Okay.
Spirit sword, they call it. And I wasn't a football guy in high school, never got to hold it or anything. Wouldn't have had a chance to, though, because the team was not so great when I was there. Gotcha. But I want to shout out my Warriors. They moved to 2-0 on the year. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. As we move on through our Class B scores from last week, McCook outlasted Aurora 27-20 on the road. Put that one right after the Waverly game because why? McCook hosts Waverly tonight. Couple 2-0 teams, should be a fantastic game out there in McCook. Bennington gets its first win of the year. They lost to Waverly in week 1. They beat Gretna East 46-27. Elkhorn North up to number 1 in the Class B rankings per the Omaha World Herald, all over the York Dukes, 42-7. Elkhorn North wins that one. Scottsbluff made a drive down to Lincoln, dominated Lincoln Northwest 56-7 1 week ago. Pius won a defensive slugfest against Blair. It was 14-7. Thunderbolts take them down. Grand Island Northwest blanked Hastings 40-0, and Crete beat Beatrice. Final score of 27-14. Moving right along, Class C and below. Not a lot of great games in Class D last week. So we'll mostly stick in C1 and C2 the rest of the way. Wahoo all over Ashland Greenwood in a top 10 matchup. It was 35-0. The Warriors took down the Blue Jays. We'll hear more about Ashland Greenwood coming up. Another fun game for them coming up this week. Rudy, I have to tell you, too, a little bit about Wahoo. So it's a little town. I don't even know the population offhand. It's a bigger Class C school, borderline Class B.
Gotcha.
And I've always had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the town because my grandpa and grandma lived in Fremont. So
Okay.
Wahoo's like the halfway point going north. And in high school, when I was there at least, Lincoln Lutheran was part of a co-op with Raymond Central a little bit north of town and then Wahoo a little bit even further there. And so there was that weird kind of mix of y'all are my teammates when we play baseball, right? I got to love you. I got to root for you and respect you. But man, like you're running a lot in Class C. You're good at everything else. And I'm rooting against you in everything else. Playing against you in football, playing against you in basketball. That was always just such a fascinating dynamic for me and some of my other baseball teammates from Lincoln Lutheran. And so even now, like I look back at I don't even know if you call it a rivalry with Wahoo because there's Wahoo Public and there's Wahoo Bishop Neumann in the same town. That's obviously the chief rival, Wahoo and Ashland Greenwood, that played last week, developing a little bit of a rivalry as well. I mean, they've been just killer programs. It's just kind of fun to look back on those days and some of those relationships. Like, man, for 6 months out of the year, I could not stand you and everything you did. And then for 6 weeks, it's like, oh yeah, we got to be tight because we're baseball teammates. It was pretty great.
Yeah, we had something similar. Like, I mean, obviously not co-op, but like I think it was the same way with like our summer ball teams back home. It's like I played baseball with a couple of the kids that went to that rival high school, and it was like for the entire year, football, baseball, every sport that I either played or went to go watch, it was like I hate those guys. And same thing, like over the summer, it's like, all right, like you're cool enough to be my teammate. Well, I'll get over it for the summer. So,
but only for the summer.
Exactly. After that, it went right back to hatred. So,
oh yeah. Norfolk Catholic Boone Central last week. Norfolk Catholic wins it by a score 32-26. Not as close for Cedar Catholic against Wayne. Final score, Cedar Catholic 55 and Wayne 7. Kearney Catholic wins by a couple scores over Ord 33-19. Number 10 Columbus Lakeview all over Adams Central 34-6. The final. Pierce similar score over Logan View Scribner Snyder 33-6. Mentioned my Warriors at Lincoln Lutheran. They moved to 2-0 last week. 35-14 victory over Auburn for the Warriors. Auburn is now 0-2, giving up 35 points in both games. Next game to tell you about, Donovan Trumbull took down Centura 35-22. And those two teams, Lincoln Lutheran and Donovan Trumbull, play tonight, a matchup of 2-0 teams. Go Warriors for me in that one. Sydney blanked Minden 20-0. And it was Shadron shutting out Valentine, final score of 34-0. Battle Creek held Aquinas off the scoreboard 28-0 last week. Fort Calhoun more than doubled up Roncalli 27-30. Milford gets a win over Louisville 42-20. GICC tops Malcolm 27-7. Fremont Bergen takes down Ponca 40-7. Syracuse topped Boys Town 22-14. Lincoln Christian got its first win of the year. No sweat for the Crusaders as they take down the Wolverines of Wilbur Claytonia. Final score of 41-0. Central City takes down Cozad 47-8, and Bishop Neumann over UTAN 28-6. Let's, while we have a few minutes, give you the full rankings from Stu Pospisil of the Omaha World Herald. His top 10 for all classes is just his top 10 in Class A. So his Class A top 10, Millard South at number 1. We'll tell you more about the Patriots and some drama that they're facing coming up at the start of our next segment. They're off to a 2-0 start, as are the top 4 teams in Class A: Westside, Elkhorn South, and Creighton Prep. Your 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. Omaha North 1-1, ranked number 5. Omaha Central, really good peripheral numbers right now, outscoring their two opponents 92-28 to a 2-0 start. Bell West started the year out ranked pretty high. They've played some pretty well contested games. We'll tell you how they did it yesterday, but coming into yesterday, they were 0-2, rated number 7. Lincoln Southeast, the only Lincoln team in the ratings at 2-0. Papio South is at number 9, and Kearney entered the rankings at number 10. Bearcats off again to a 65-0 point differential for the first 2 weeks. Elkhorn North takes the number 1 spot in Class B. Norris and Waverly all 2-0 behind Elkhorn North there. Those are your top 3. Bennington's got the pedigree. They're still up there at number 4 despite the season opening loss to Waverly. Gretna East lost last week. They're at number 5. Gretna at 6. 2-0 Scottsbluff is at number 7. Omaha Skutt sits at number 8. McCook and Seward at number 9 and number 10. Pretty much the same rankings for Pospisil week over week, but Bennington, Gretna East, and Gretna shuffle around. Same teams, just a different order. Moving on to Class C1, it's Wahoo, no doubt about it, the number 1 team in Class C1. They're outscoring opponents 90-0 here through just a couple weeks of the season. Central City at number 2, Ashland Greenwood at 3, Columbus Lakeview at 4, and Sydney at number 5. You've got Pierce at number 6, O'Neill at number 7. How about Elkhorn Mount Michael? The Knights in there, a 63-17 points for versus against in the first couple weeks. 0-2 Aurora, clinging to a top 10 spot. Must-win game for them this week. And then Fort Calhoun jumps into the rankings. Couple dominant weeks for the Pioneers. They enter the rankings at number 10. Down in Class C2, pretty obvious choice for number 1. It's Hartington Cedar Catholic, dominant through the first couple weeks of their season. Kearney Catholic comes in at number 2, followed by Wahoo, Bishop Newman, Norfolk Catholic, and Boone Central. Rounding out the top 10, in our final 11-man class, you have Raymond Central, Fremont Bergen, Cross County, Grand Island Central Catholic, and my Lincoln Lutheran Warriors. Rudy, I have to ask you, is it all 11-man football in Texas? Did you have 8-man?
We did in like the smaller areas outside of the our bigger cities, but I think it's definitely more common here that you kind of don't see it as much of the 11-man all around.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely was just more 11-man all the way around. I think it was the only times we really saw anything less was kind of just like preseason trainings, but it's not as common as it is here for sure.
You do 7-on-7, but
not like anything different. Yeah.
Well, we have 8-man in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And 6-man.
Yeah, I
6-man football, baby.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a Husker recruit that got recruited who went to a school like that, right? A couple years ago.
That was Carter Nelson.
Okay,
Indeed, played an 8-man football at Ainsworth.
That's
so
awesome.
you got Nick Saban to fly in to watch him play 8-man. So let's give you the 8-man rankings here. 8-man 1, so D1, Dundee County, Stratton, Shelby, Rising City, Sandy Creek, Nebraska City, Lords, and Plainview, the top 5. Rounding out the back half of the 8-man Class 1 ratings, Hartington, Newcastle, Bloomfield, Crofton, Wausa, Osmond, and Sutton in the top 10. 8-man 2, Humphrey Archangels and Central Valley, both 2-0, as are Howells, Dodge, Wynot, and O'Neill St. Mary's in the top 5. Lawrence, Nelson, Twin Loop, Elmwood, Murdoch, Loomis, and Anselmo Myrna round out the top 10 there. Then in 6-man, Stewart, 2-0, Red Cloud, 1-0, Sumner, Eddyville, Miller, Perennial Power Program at number 3. Garden County and Hay Springs round out the top 5. Then it's Pawnee City, Silver Lake, Southwest, Layton, and Wallace, a combined 9-0 for the back half of the top 10 in 6-man. Mentioned some breaking news out of the Millard South program. We'll go over that news, what it could mean for the Patriots, and get you set up with a scoreboard from games that have been in progress already over the course of yesterday and early today. Also get you set up for some more of those games of note coming up later tonight. He's Rudy. I'm Austin. This is the High School Football Pregame Show, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Is your heating system ready for cooler weather? Call Bryant to schedule your fall heating check. No matter what brand, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your link forecast for today. A few sprinkles possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot with a high near 92. Tonight, mainly clear skies, continued breeze, low around 71. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot with a high near 94. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's it take to be a mentor with big brothers, big sisters? It takes 30 minutes and a cup of coffee. A video game. Best 2 out of 3. It takes sharing thumbs up emojis, clapping emojis, and loaded nachos at halftime. That's how you make an impact on a young kid's life. So go on, share a few hours a month, because mentorship may sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. To learn more, volunteer, or donate, go to bebignow.org.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934. 8934 HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Rolling right along here, high school football pregame. Austin Norman, Rudy Grace with you, 93.7 Ticket, ticketfm.com. I want to shout out to Coach Justin Hoffman listening here. Texas has 6-man. Heck yes, Texas. Nice. I know it's 7-on-7 culture, but 6-on-6 clears. We are all about that here. Let's go to this. Again, shout out to Stu Pospisil of the Omaha World Herald. Millard South penalized by the NSAA for an early season football violation. Just going to rip straight from Stu's article here. Millard South must forfeit its season opening victory over a Las Vegas team for violating NSAA rules. Additionally, new coach Taylor Mendenhall is suspended for Friday's game at Kearney and next Friday's home game with Millard North, while a volunteer assistant was put on a 1-year suspension from coaching at any high school in the state. Millard South was also fined $500 and required to submit a written action plan to NSAA Executive Director Jennifer Schwartz for lack of administrative oversight. So Stu would go on to say, the NSAA statement said, under NSAA policy, the situation that led to the hearing involved confidential student information and was a closed hearing. Therefore, the NSAA cannot release any information. So might not be able to find out what it was exactly that Millard South did wrong. Millard South's version of events says Millard South administration was made aware of a potential Nebraska School Activities Association bylaw infraction last week. We took the matter very seriously, immediately self-reported to the NSAA, and began an internal investigation. We appreciate the NSAA's careful review of the situation and the recognition of our transparency in the process. After reviewing the information, yada, 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 Millard South takes full responsibility and accepts the consequences. We appreciate the NSAA's careful review of the situation and are committed to moving forward, yada, yada, yada. Kind of big news for the number one program, and not just in Class A, but in the entire state, in the ratings and in the rankings. A lot of college talent on that roster, Rudy. And this is a first-year head coach and a volunteer assistant that are going to be suspended. Head coach gone for a couple games. Volunteer assistant essentially with a 1-year show cause penalty in NCAA football terms. Regardless of what program it is, it's a big deal, but not exactly the early season headlines that you're looking for the number one program in the state.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think back in Texas, we had a couple little scandals happen like that. And it's one of those things that like that, even if they end up winning these games without their head coach, even if they go on to have a season like that, it's going to be brought up at some point again. It's not going to be something people forget just because you start winning again either, which is going to be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Are you a fan of forfeiting victories after games have been played?
I think it depends on what is causing the suspension and stuff. And like you said, we probably won't know that. But I think if it directly like impacts the game, impacts the players involved, I could see the extent of that. But I think in like the Michigan cases, like I think some of those might have been or should have been. That's not here or there. But if it's like just recruiting stuff, off the field stuff, I think that's kind of where it kind of gets to a little weird line. But like I said, if it's directly impacting the play, then yeah, I understand those.
Got some celebrities walking by the window. Shout out Nebraska football. I'll leave it at that. I am very much not team forfeit victories.
Okay.
I guess I kind of get where the penalty comes from. Well, if these players would have been on the roster, who's to say that, the team would have won the game? I think that's a fair argument. But here's the thing. The players ended up on the roster, and we saw the game played.
Yeah.
So you can't really reverse the result of something we all saw with our own eyes. You're not going to credit the other team with a win. Yeah. So if you're not going to credit the other team with a win and it's not going to change anything after the fact, I think the simplest thing just for accounting is, hey, guess what? They cheated. There are other penalties they can do. But then it's also tough because how do you punish stuff like this in the moment, right? We think about that in the context of the Michigan scandal, like you said, even Louisville and what everything that came out with Rick Pitino back in the day. It's unless you get that like next month or next year punishment, it's really hard to actually punish these people in the moment with anything lasting. And clearly Rick Pitino has bounced back. Jim Harbaugh, wins the national championship and is off to the NFL, having some success there. It's just always so tricky when these investigations of these things take time. So credit, I think, to Millard South, the NSAA, for getting this resolved. I don't think taking one win off their ledger will necessarily affect the outcome of the season, though, Rudy.
Yeah, I agree. I think you brought up a good point there, too. It's like, at the end of the day, they take those win away or not. It's like, it won't really change much at all. And I think that's something that kind of gets overlooked a little bit. It's like, people were upset that Michigan didn't lose the championship, lose this or that. But it's like, there's also only so much you can do to make an impact on them in the moment, like you said, and going forward. Like, you take away the championship, okay, that sucks. But all those players already know that in their minds and in college football, they won that already. So there's really not a huge impact to taking that away. I see that now for sure.
So again, Millard South forfeits its season opening win over the team from Las Vegas. Head coach Taylor Mendenhall suspended for today's game against Kearney and next Friday's crosstown rivalry with Millard North, and a volunteer assistant who goes unnamed in the piece, given a 1-year suspension from any high school in the state of Nebraska. Big news there affecting the Patriots. Let's get you updated on what you need to know for today. Some games that have already taken place on yesterday's docket. Elkhorn South moves to 3-0. They take down North Star 34-6. Storm take down the Gators. Bellevue West is on the board. T-Birds get their first win of the season in crosstown fashion. Thunderbirds 49, Chieftains of Bellevue East 0. Gretna continues its winning ways. Dragons beat the Bears of Blair 28-14. Shout out Standing Bear, moving to 2-1 on the year. they take down York in a tight game. It was 21-16, the final score. Standing Bear takes down York in Class B. And in Class C2 action, Grand Island Central Catholic moves to 3-0 on the year. They take down Hershey, final score of 42-0. All right, a look at tonight's action here in just the next few minutes before we go to break and send things out to Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman at Seacrest Field. We'll kind of work our way down through the classes as best we can. Headlining game tonight, we just talked about it, Millard South at Kearney. Should be plenty of talent on that Millard South roster to overcome the loss of head coach Taylor Mendenhall for this week and next week. But like we said, Kearney has not yet allowed a point. They put that to the test tonight against arguably the most talented team in the state. Maybe not far behind Omaha Westside and Millard West. Millard West has a lot to prove. And Rudy, I'm going to be watching this game. Don't know much about either of the two teams myself, but I know that when you get an Omaha Westside team that's been coasting for the first couple of weeks, has a lot of talent, you're accepting of a challenge like this against a Millard West team that got embarrassed last week. No matter how good the opponent they're playing was, you got to at least put up some sort of resistance. Millard West really didn't. And so I'm shocked if this is more than a couple possession game with Millard West having so much to prove on the line.
Yeah, I agree, especially like that. I saw the score of the game and I was like, you just assume Millard West has this kind of this greatness to them as a whole, as a program in any sport, really, is from what I'm understanding in my years of being here. And so seeing that, it's like, it's probably not a talent thing. It's like you're saying, like whatever the case was, they got to go out there, they got to show some fight, and they didn't show that in the last game. So yeah, I definitely am intrigued to see how they do bounce back starting today. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Elsewhere in Class A, Papillion La Vista South at Millard North, another team with something to prove off a big blowout loss last week. Papio South hung tight in last week's loss. Millard North did not. Omaha Central hosting Omaha North. Top 10 matchup. Should be a fantastic game. In the city, Lincoln Northeast travels to Benson. Lincoln Southwest, still looking for its first win, heads to Papillion La Vista. That'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff from Papio. Lincoln East hits the road. They will take on Grand Island. On to Class B, mentioned Waverly and McCook. That ought to be fun. Seward hanging on in the top 10, taking on Pius. That game will be at Aldrich Field here in Lincoln. Scott hosting Plattsmouth, and Crete traveling to Scotts Bluff. Some other interesting Class B games on the docket tonight. 0-2 Aurora. Not something we say very often around these parts. Has to travel to Wahoo. The Warriors dominant 90-0 start here through the first couple of weeks. Still a headlining game, still a key game, I believe, in the Class C1 race. But man, I think this one comes at a bad time for Aurora, scuffling to an 0-2, probably projected to be now an 0-3 start. Another team that doesn't start 0-2 very often, Boone Central, traveling to Battle Creek. That'll be a fun one there in Class C2. Cedar Catholic looked really good here in the first couple weeks of the year. Got a couple of big wins. They are traveling to Fremont to take on Fremont Bergen in a matchup of 2-0 teams. And again, as we look at Stu Pospisil's top 10 rankings, Hartington Cedar Catholic atop those, 2-0 record overall, 76 points scored against just 21 allowed. Fremont Bergen in the rankings at number 7, 82 points scored and only 10 allowed for the night. Should be a fantastic Nebraska Class C2 matchup in Fremont. Norfolk Catholic travels to North Bend Central. A couple 2-0 teams, Norfolk Catholic perennial power in C2. SCOTUS at Ashland Greenwood. Big bounce back spot for Ashland Greenwood as they take on the Shamrocks. That's another proud program that you don't expect to be down for very long. Get Cozad at Ogallala, O'Neill at Ord, Malcolm at UTAN, and then Wilbur Claytonia searching for its first win. Wolverines will travel to the town of Milford to take on the Eagles. I do have a little bit of history with Milford myself. Of course, my mom and my uncle graduated from there. Steven, you're on our text line sometimes texting from Milford, so we certainly shout you out there. Wilbur Claytonia, I wouldn't say it's a sentimental favorite of mine by any means. I remember just a couple things about Wilbur Clayton. 3 things, I think, really, Rudy. The first thing is a game I did not attend, but I heard about it the next day in football. A couple of their players hit one of our football players so hard they dented his face mask. And this was not a small player. So they did that. I remember running a track meet at Wilbur Claytonia, just little old 8th grade Austin. I was 5'0", not even 100 pounds in 8th grade, right? So get that image in your head. I'm in like 7 or 8 or something. Lined up right next to me is supposedly an 8th grader with a full beard.
That's
like full beard, 5'8", 100. I haven't hit puberty yet. Not my growth spurt, and this year's got a full beard. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, that does not sound fun at all.
It was not. The other positive memory I will say that I have of Wilbur Claytonia, though, is that after I broke my finger my junior year, went on the road, and that's where I scored my first points back. So fond memories of some basketball in that gym. Rudy, go ahead and hit the out music for me while you can. Got a fantastic matchup on tap for you tonight coming up here in just a few minutes. We'll get Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman on the line. They are connected and ready to go from Seacrest Field, the house that Aaron Davis built, or something like that. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman on the call. 2-0 Creighton Prep comes to town to take on 2-0 Lincoln Southeast. A matchup of top 10 teams. You hear it all right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We will be back at halftime with a scoreboard update. But until then, for Rudy, I'm awesome. Don't go anywhere. We got Creighton Prep. We got Lincoln Southeast. Top 10 matchup. Nebraska Class A high school football next on The Ticket.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in season? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Tune in every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters, every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family-focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
This is a presentation of Nebraska High School football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. High school football broadcasts are powered by Edward Stone, Sunbelt Rentals, Union Bank and Trust, Doane University, Hamilton Telecommunications, Jimmy John's, Nebraska Army National Guard, Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, and Play It Again Sports. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman.
Welcome in. It is week 3 of the high school football season from Seacrest Field on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you, Jay Foreman joining momentarily here from Seacrest as we have a top 10 matchup in Class A action on our hands, ready to get going in a little less than 15 minutes of time on a beautiful, warmer evening here at Seacrest Field in Lincoln, Nebraska. Once again, Nick Sainert with you. Jay Foreman will join the show more momentarily as Rudy, Austin, and the entire crew holding things down in our studios, 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln. Good one on tap between the number 4 rated team in Class A standings, the Creighton Prep Junior Jays, and their 2-0 record against a team that we saw last weekend in a rivalry matchup, a victory over Lincoln Southwest. It's the Lincoln Southeast Knights and their unblemished 2-0 record on the campaign as well. The Lincoln Southeast Knights come in with the 8 next to their name in the top 10 rankings here that was announced earlier this week, according to Nebraska Prep Zone and the Omaha World Herald, who does the official rankings in the high school season for the state of Nebraska. Once again, the Creighton Prep Junior Jays on the road taking on the Lincoln Southeast Knights. Let's first start with the Junior Jays from Creighton Prep. As I mentioned, undefeated, 2-0 in the early stages of this season. They actually knocked off a team from St. Louis, Missouri, a team by the name of Des Moines Jesuit. They beat them 42-35 in week 1 and then followed that up with a dominating, convincing, confident 42-0 shutout victory against the Omaha Burke Bulldogs. They'll have to face off against Millard West next weekend, but first the Knights stand in their way. That victory against Des Moines Jesuit down in St. Louis, Missouri was certainly an impressive one. That's a team in Jesuit that's won over 10 games their last 2 seasons. They were a 13-2 program in 2024. Certainly a good way for Tim Young's squad to start off the 2025 campaign with that touchdown victory down in Missouri. The Junior Jays, though, they've been to the playoffs in the postseason time and time again. How about this? Two programs very familiar with postseason experience, very successful in the postseason as well. The Junior Jays have made the postseason every single year since 1994. As a school, they've made it 46 times dating back to 1976. They've only, since that year 1976, have missed the playoffs 3 times, 1990, 1992, and 1994. However, Tim Yonk and that Junior Jays program has struggled to make it to the championship matchup. Haven't made the title since 2014. They haven't won that state championship crown since 2004. Still, tradition rich at Creighton Prep. They have 9 titles and 7 runner-up finishes. On offense, they're going to turn to the quarterback, the senior, 6'3", 190-pound frame in Jack Lammers. Lammers on the year, 19 of 34 passing, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Does have a rushing touchdown, however, has struggled to hold on to the football. A couple of fumbles on the year, as I mentioned, in addition to that 1 INT. But on the ground, how about Angelo Walker? Walker, a 6', 190-pound running back, bowling ball, 41 carries on the year. He's going to eclipse the 300 rushing yard mark tonight. 4 rushing touchdowns on the year. And on the perimeter, I mentioned Creighton Prep is going to try to establish that run game, but in the pass-catching game, number 1, Sheldon Galladay is going to be Lammer's favorite go-to target, a 6'3", 180-pound senior threat on the edge, 8 catches, 145 yards. I mentioned Lammers with those 2 touchdown passes on the year. Both of those have gone to Galladay. Defensively for the Junior Jays, they're going to have to work tonight without their leading tackler, Henry Choszczynski. We're out for tonight's game with a sling. He is a 6', 175-pound junior, also has an INT on the campaign. He is unable to suit up this evening. For the Lincoln Southeast Knights, how about Ryan Gatula's squad last week? It didn't look pretty for a good chunk of the game. It was tied at halftime, but Lincoln Southeast was able to slowly but surely create some space and create some distance against the Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks last Friday. They knocked off their rivals in Lincoln 26-9. The scoreboard said a 17-point differential. It didn't feel like that here at Seacrest. It felt like Southwest, just a few plays away from maybe making that a more competitive finish on the on the scoreboard. But for the most part, a nice job by the Lincoln Southeast Knights in their first game this year without their star player, Caden Logan. First game without Caden Logan, they were able to come out and knock off their rival Lincoln Southwest by a score of 26-9. That was on the heels of a 30-0 shutout victory against Grand Island in week 1. For Lincoln Southeast, they have a couple of playmakers offensively, and one I'm really interested to see how he builds off of his performance last week, and that's the guy in the backfield replacing Caden Logan this year. Last week we thought, okay, we might see a 2-headed monster between this young man and a fella named Beckham Rice. Rice made his waves defensively in that linebacker room, but last week it was all Brecken Bokowski, the 5'9" junior, 16 carries, 116 rushing yards, also scored. He also made his waves defensively a little bit against the Silverhawks, also added 7 tackles and an interception to his stat line in last Friday's game altogether. So a really impressive performance last week from Brecken Bokowski in the backfield. But tonight, to defeat the Creighton Prep Junior Jays, the Knights might need a little bit better of a performance from their quarterback, the 6'2", 180-pound junior, Gavin Sem. Gavin on the year, 18 of 36, just completing about 50% of his passes, right on the nose there for 260 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, but 3 INTs. Has to figure out a way to maybe hold on to the ball a little bit better tonight against a very, very tough, stout Junior Jays defense, a defense that has had their fair share of turnovers forced this year. The Junior Jays defense forced 6 turnovers so far through 2 games, 5 of those through the air in the form of INTs. They've also forced 3 fumbles, recovering and earning possession on 1 of those. They also have a really strong defensive line, Creighton Prep. 6 different players have registered a sack through 2 games. They have 6.5 sacks on the year as a defense. But back to the Knights and their 2-0 record. Once again, on the perimeter, we saw a really impressive week last week from Mason Mehta. He's their leading receiver. They line him up. He's officially listed as a tight end, but they sometimes line him up in the perimeter, line him up in different areas offensively. Mason Mehta, 6'2", 210-pound, big-bodied tight end / can be a wide receiver threat. 5 catches, 178 receiving yards on the year, and 2 touchdowns. Both of those touchdowns were scored in last week's win against the Lincoln Southwest Knights. Also in the receiving game for Lincoln Southeast, a guy with a familiar last name, Nate Applegate. A couple catches on the year, 59 yards and a touchdown that they scored back against the Grand Island Islanders in week 1. Also a name to know, both offensively, but maybe a little bit more so defensively. That's the 6'4", 220-pound tight end and outside linebacker, Caden Ward. The senior has really good size, 6 grabs on the year, a touchdown reception on the campaign, also has a sack defensively to go with his third on the team in tackles, 14 registered here in 2025. Should be a really, really good one between the Lincoln Southeast Knights and the Creighton Prep Junior Jays. Once again, Nick Sainert with you from Seacrest Field. Jay Foreman will join us momentarily as we are getting ready for kickoff here at Seacrest. Can't thank Rudy Grez and the entire crew back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios for holding on the fort and pushing all the buttons, making sure we stay connected on a warm September evening. It's time to kick off the week 3 of high school football action right after this and on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day, because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC. Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, It's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Last Friday in week 2 of the high school football season, temperatures were in the mid to upper 60s, about a 30-degree difference in the feels-like temperature from last Friday to tonight. 95 degrees is the feels-like temperature at kickoff, the wind blowing at a comfortable 10 miles per hour to the north, through the north end zone here at Seacrest Field, just moments ahead of our matchup in week 3 of the season between the Creighton Prep Junior Jays and the Lincoln Southeast Knights. Nick Sainert alongside the Husker Hall of Famer on this Husker Hall of Fame induction weekend, Jay Foreman here. And Jay, going to be a good one tonight between the Knights, who come in 8th currently in the Class A standings, up against the 4th-rated Creighton Prep Junior Jays.
Yeah, it's two teams that kind of have been on the same trajectory, Nick, the last couple of years. Obviously, Southeast got some guys graduate. Obviously, the likes of the Butenbach brothers and so forth and so on. And Creighton Prep was really young the last 2 years and kind of been, slowly but surely turning to this point. So you got two teams up on the upswing. One, obviously, number 4, number 8. And for Southeast, obviously, is a great opportunity to put the rest of the state on notice. In my opinion, from the many years that we've been doing this is a different type of offensive Southeast team where they're not as predictable. Got good size and speed, so I think they can match up with the brute force of Creighton Prep.
We'll talk about that a little bit more. We're going to get to see Lincoln Southeast offense on the field first. They lost the toss. Creighton Prep chose to defer to the second half, and so Creighton Prep will set up, and they will get ready to kick things off with the wind at their back to start the first quarter of play. Creighton Prep in their road white jerseys with the blue pants and the white helmets with those Creighton Prep P's on the side of the helmet, the logos, the CP, I should say, on the side of each helmet. While this week, we get to see Lincoln Southeast in their home all-black uniforms with the white letters and numbers on the fronts and the backs with their black helmets as well. Last week, since they were the designated visitors with the white jerseys against the Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks, a game that they won 26-9. Both these teams 2-0 on the 2025 campaign, and we are ready to go as the kickoff is up and away. It's going to go through the end zone for a touchback, and it's our first look at Gavin Sem tonight, the quarterback for the Lincoln Southeast Knights. You mentioned the Southeast Knights offense a little bit different than maybe what we're seeing. Go a little deeper in that.
Yeah, Gavin Sim, I think, gives them something that they haven't had, at this magnitude at the quarterback position, where you can, run a little bit of RPO. You can have the deep and intermediate and short passing game. And so he spreads this defense out, or spreads the offense out to put a lot of pressure on this young and upcoming Creighton Prep defense.
Brecken Bokowski will be the guy that lines up in the backfield primarily. Had himself a nice week last week in the win, 16 carries, 116 yards, and a score offensively. He motions to the right hip of Sem, and he's going to get the pass in the flat, make one guy miss, and then get immediately hit just shy of the 20-yard line by number 45 for the Creighton Prep Junior J defense. That's Michael Novero, who leads the team in tackles. Now that's his 17th on the year.
Yeah, it was a good job there by Novero, is coming out of the stack, and it's a little quick, extended run play. And what Southeast has really done is extended their run game. Remember a couple years ago we talked about attacking in the thirds? They're trying to feel them out before they try to get that inside running game going, which was a big change for them coming out of halftime, was the way they ran their inside-outside zone.
There was a penalty flag on the play for an illegal motion charge to Lincoln Southeast, and so that's going to move it back 5 yards, and we'll replay the down. 1st and 15 now coming up from their own 15-yard line, and they'll break the huddle in an empty shotgun formations. Obviously, still scoreless in this one, just underway at Seacrest Field. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you here on 93.7 The Ticket. 3 wideouts to the near side. Sem looks to the left, getting pressured, steps up, and he'll go down And this time it's number 3, Colin Corrigan from the linebacker room, was able to come around the left side of that Southeast offensive line and sack Gavin Sim.
A really good adjustment there by Creighton Prep is that when Southeast came out in obviously no backs and tried to put some pressure on them, spread them out, they said, we don't have to cover. We feel that we can cover you man-to-man. We're going to blitz off the corner. Really good job by Kerrigan, attacking a little bit of elusive quarterback there in Gavin Sim.
2nd down and 18 now from the 12-yard line, lining up under center. It's Sim and the Southeast offense, but it looks like we're going to have a timeout quickly called by Ryan Gatula, and Lincoln Southeast, not the start you want.
Yeah.
Less than a minute into this game, a penalty, a sack, and now an early timeout less than 56 seconds into the ball game.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get with the receivers there when they went no backs. I think it was a sight adjustment that was missed, and that's where Gavin Sim had to try to make something out of nothing, and Kerrigan was too fast and too quick. It was able to corral him for the sack. And so one thing that you have to realize right now, right, it's 2nd and pretty much 20, 2nd and 18. So you got to think the next 2 plays, right? It's not only trying to get the first down, right? It's really trying to get your first play off in a positive fashion, really calm your young team down. And obviously, Gavin Sim is a junior. A lot of the other skill position guys are junior. You're thinking about Caden Ward, all these guys that played with each other or Mason Mehta, who was a star of the show last week. All these guys are young juniors. Young juniors to me is that they played a little bit last year in starting roles this year. It gets a big physical defense here from Creighton Prep.
Out of the timeout, 2nd and 18 from their own 12-yard line. One running back lined up to the right hip of Gavin Sim in the shotgun. 2 wideouts to the far side. That's the way that Sim's looking. Quick pass out, caught just shy of the 20-yard line by Mehta. Up, gets across to the 25 and down at the 26-yard line. And when it's 2nd and 18, Jay, you say it all the time. There's no play that's going to get you 19 yards automatically. A nice easy pitch and catch there to make it 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, unless you have guys, like Justin Jefferson and so forth and so on, not so much. But you have, according to Lincoln Southeast, they got somebody in Mason Mehta. A really good job there of lining him and Caden Ward up next to each other, putting stress on that flat defender. The 15-yard gain, now it's more than 3rd and manageable.
3rd down and 4 officially after the gain of 14 on 2nd down. They take the snap back to pass again. Quick pass into the near side. It's intercepted. Going the other way. It's Nico Kochmick, and he will score a pick 6 as it was intended for Caden Ward, and Kochmick just stepped in front, delivered it to the house. It's touchdown Creighton Prep.
Yeah, it was a miscommunication there. It was a little bit of an area route there. And Gatula is talking to Gavin Sim, and it was a misread there. So either Caden Ward and Gavin Sim misread it, or Mason Mehta. It was just a bad execution of a play. When you play against a zone-dominant defense and you throw it right to him, that's what Creighton Prep wants you to do. And we saw this a little bit last week, a little bit loosey-goosey with the ball. Then he settled down, and he played really well.
That is Sim's 4th interception of the season, and it goes back to the house the other way for 6 points. With 10 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the opening quarter, Creighton Prep turns a defensive interception into a touchdown on the pick 6 by number 13, Nico Kochmick. That is his 2nd interception on the year, and this one puts Creighton Prep in front 7-0. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A pick 6 by Creighton Prep's defense puts them on the board first. They lead at 7-0, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see Junior Jay's quarterback, Jack Lammers. But for now, Lincoln Southeast going to get the ball right back here with 10:20 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's not a catastrophic, obviously, turnover, a touchdown. Obviously, it doesn't bode well when you give an interception when a defense scores. But essentially, there's 10 minutes left in the first quarter, so it's business as usual. It's no different than Creighton Prep took the open kickoff back or had a long drive. And so you got to settle down your sophomore quarterback, number one. Number two, you see Coach Gatula over there talking to everything. The communication and obviously the details in the execution of the plays obviously is off. Yeah. You have to burn a timeout less than 3 minutes into the game. You have a miscommunication on essentially an area route that should be a pitch and catch for essentially, I think, a bonus first down.
Yeah.
Now you got your back against the wall. Now you got to dig yourself out of the hole.
We didn't see Lincoln Southeast run the ball on the ground one time on the opening drive. They hand it off after the touchdown here, touchback, and it's Bukowski who gets stopped for a loss once again on the stop. Colin Core again. It's going to be a loss of 2 on the play.
Yeah, you're probably all right with that. I mean, obviously not all right with the result. You just run a little bit of outside zone, a quick take there to get the team settled down. And obviously number 3 is having a game for himself. Right, Colin Core again had shot the gap and made a really good tackle on a tough little running back right there.
9:54 to go in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Creighton Prep after they had a pick 6 off of Gavin Sim. It's now 2nd down and 12 for the Lincoln Southeast offense from their own 18-yard line. Back to pass at Sim. He gets pressured. It's a screen play. It's caught by Caden Ward just shy of the 20-yard line. Spins out of 2 tackles, but then the Junior Jays defense swarms the senior tight end, Caden Ward, and it's going to be no gain on the play. 3rd down and 12 coming up.
Yeah, well, you're seeing, Nick, where you like Creighton Prep there. Like I said, they play primarily zone, so they want all 7 defenders with their eyes on the ball, so it's hard to really run screens against them because they play zone. You run screens primarily against over-aggressive man-to-man defense. That's why they were successful last week. So what you're going to have to do is really, really shore up your pass protection and start and put pressure in the middle of the field, the middle third, and they will start making some hay.
3rd and long, back from their 18-yard line. Got to get to the 30. It's a pass deflected, almost intercepted. It went through the hands of Nate Applegate. It was a catchable ball, and in the vicinity trying to grab it off the deflection or off the drop, rather, was Vincent Saul, the defensive back for the Junior Jays. It goes through his mitts, and it's going to be a Lincoln Southeast punt from their own 18-yard line.
Yeah, it was almost, back-to-back turnovers. Obviously, that all interceptions wouldn't be created equal. But I think when you look at the Southeast team right now, when you look at their body language, right, where Creighton Prep is usually used to deviling in this type of mud, right? Where now we look at Southeast, you see the offensive line coach talking to them. They look a little bit nervous, playing a little bit too hesitant.
Yeah.
So they got to really start turning it up here before this game gets out of control.
Short punt and a return opportunity there for Nico Kochmick, and he gets up into Lincoln Southeast territory all the way at the 36-yard line, and that is where the Creighton Prep Junior Jays offense will set up shop, and it's our first chance to look at Jack Lammers. Lammers, the 6'3", 190-pound quarterback, built well for the senior, completes just a little over 50% of his passes on the year, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, has struggled with holding on to the ball, also has a couple of fumbles. But on the ground game, Angelo Walker, the 6-foot senior, will eclipse the 300 rushing yard mark tonight. And I say that in confidence because he only needs 1 rushing yard.
Yeah, I mean, if this is going to be any indication, or their defense any indication of what their offense is going to do, they're going to line up and try to run you over. So Southeast, led by Nate Applegate, the linebacker position, have to have a big night.
Shotgun snap to Lammers, looking to pass, going to take a shot on 1st down. It's intended for number 1, Sheldon Galladay. That is the receiver that Lammers has thrown both of his touchdown passes on the year to here in 2025. It's over his head, out of bounds, incomplete to bring up 2nd down and 10. I like the play design there. The idea, you get the ball at the Southeast 36-yard line, you're up by a touchdown in the early stages. Why not take a shot?
Yeah, well, look, you try to put the dagger in the heart early. You think you stymied and got a good beat on this Southeast offense, and you get in and take a shot. This is the green zone. This is, you're almost in the fluorescent zone, and you got a really good receiver out there that got good genes. Galladay's dad, I played with him. Aaron Galladay was a really good tight end for Nebraska.
2nd down and 10. They turn, they hand it off. Here is Walker. He gets spun around and dropped. A nice job defensively there. But that is number 44, Shy Briggs Booker, 6'1", 215-pound senior, in on the stop.
Yeah, Shy Briggs Booker. We didn't see him last week, and really good job of making his presence known. Shot the gap and made a tackle for loss. That's exactly what Southeast needed, right? You defend yourself against the take a shot, a tackle for loss. You're ahead of the chains as far as defensively. You get off the field here, it allows your offense to settle down. Then you can start to be aggressive when you get the ball back.
3rd down and 11. Be a big stop defensively for Lincoln Southeast if they can get off the field in the next 1 or 2 plays. Shotgun formation, 2 outs to the far side. Galladay by himself at the bottom. They turn, they fake the handoff. Quick pass is going to be caught near the 1st down line to gain at the 26-yard line. He might be right past that 1st down marker. He is. Move the chains. It's a 12-yard completion to number 24 that time. That's Preston Woodard on the catch.
Yeah, really good job there. It had me fooled there. I thought it was going to the left, and a really good job of running a quick slant there from the slot. Got a big 1st down, put them back on time and on schedule, and looking to score another 3 to 7 points.
7:41 to go in the first quarter. It is 7-0. Junior Jays out in front with the football after they scored on a defensive touchdown. The shotgun snap back to pass Lammers. Quick pass out to the right side. It's going to be hauled in by number 13, Nico Kochmick, who scored defensively, gets taken down just past the 20-yard line at the 19 for a gain of 7 yards. 2nd down and 3 officially coming up for the Junior Jays offense with 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Once again, Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman alongside Rudy Grizz back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln. 2nd down and 3 coming up here in just a moment. The line to gain is about the 15.5-yard line. So I suppose if you want to round up, it's 2nd down and 4 officially from the 19. Here, single back formation. They turn, handed off. Angelo Walker is able to escape a shoestring tackle, gets across that 15-yard line up to the 13 for another Junior Jays first down.
Yeah, they're trying to. This offense right here, besides the first couple plays, looks like they're right on schedule, right? Where you get a big 3rd down, get another run, and now they're looking to score points. They feel like they can physically, overpower this Lincoln Southeast team. And when you look at Creighton Prep offensive line and defensive line, they've been living in the weight room. They're playing really on schedule. And what Southeast has to do right now, they got to start getting tackles for loss, but more importantly, they got to play a little bit more technique sound.
6.5 to go in the opening quarter. Shotgun snap. They turn, handed off. Angelo Walker lowers his right shoulder, but in on the stop. A nice job there by number 79 on that defensive line. That's John Wood, the 6'2", 255-pound senior defensive tackle, making the stop, taking Walker down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Yeah, good job. I mean, Southeast has made a couple plays at our line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. What they have to do is really do a really good job of understanding the pass routes that now you got to expect right now at red zone. You're going to expect a shot to the end zone, right? Because they feel like they can run the ball if they get a check down. So now they're in a run formation, but you expect they're going to go outside to Galladay because it's one-on-one coverage.
I formation, Galladay at the top. They turn to fake the handoff to the fullback, looking down the seam, trying to get some separation. Was the tight end on the play, number 41, Vincent Constantino, the tight end, unable to get away from the defender. That's number 4, Brooks Gordon on coverage.
Brooks Gordon had a big game last week and, continued to do so. Really heads-up play there. Little reverse pivot, fake to the fullback, tight end seam. That's an old-school 1994 play, Nick, that I had to defend plenty. Really good job there by Gordon of covering Constantino up the seam. Now you have Creighton Prep exactly where you want them, right? You got them at 3rd and 10 on the 13-yard line. They're not trying to be over-aggressive over there because they don't want to give up the field goal.
They turn, handed off. Angelo Walker on 3rd down and 10, just barrels his way across the 10-yard line. He'll be about 6 yards short of that first down marker after the gain of 4 on 3rd down, and it appears they're going to bring on the field goal unit to attempt a rather manageable field goal in the number 95, Rory McGarry, the sophomore, who kicks from the left side, the left foot kicker, as he's going to line up for a field goal. That's going to be about a 26-yarder as it goes wide right. McGarry misses the 26-yard chip shot. He had the 11-mile-an-hour wind at his back. He kind of moved at a quick pace. I looked down at my sheet, and he was already in his motion on the way to the pigskin, but Rory McGarry, no good from 26 yards out. And so a drive that started on the Lincoln Southeast 36-yard line, it goes null and void. Yeah. No points out of it for the Creighton Prep offense.
So that's a win for Southeast, not only the defense, but as a team, right? You had your back against the wall. Creighton Prep looked like they were trying to go up by 2 scores. Fortunately for them, they got the field goal miss. Now let's see if they can be more consistent, efficient, and obviously aggressive on offense.
Showing pressure through the middle. They get it to the handoff on first down to Bokowski. He gets stopped behind the line again. Another 2-yard loss for Brecken Bokowski. Showing pressure up the middle from Angelo Walker, the linebacker. Also doubles as the starting running back for the Junior Jays. Gets him in a loss for 2.
Yeah, really good job there by Creighton Prep. They are essentially dictating the pace here to Southeast, and they have a good beat on when they're going to run, when they're going to pass. And so as an offensive coordinator, you have to maybe switch things up, not the plays, but the rhythm and the timing of when you run them.
4:35 to go in the opening quarter, 7-0 Junior Jays. The snap back on 2nd down and 12. Off his back foot, trying to get it to Meta, unable to do so. He was covered tightly. Great job defensively in coverage by guess who? Angelo Walker.
Yeah, really good job there by Walker of staying in the front hip there of Mason and making a good play on the ball. I like it. You playing up through the offensive player to the ball. You couldn't get a defensive pass interference. Really good job there by Walker.
Now it's 3rd down and 12, and Lincoln Southeast in danger of going 3 and out after the missed 26-yard field goal by by Creighton Prep. 3 wideouts to the near side, empty shotgun set, 2 to the top. As Sem takes the shot, the snap back, steps up, and he has nowhere to go. Number 51 for that junior defense. That is Aaron Shaw in on the sack right at the line of scrimmage, and that is going to force a Lincoln Southeast punt yet again.
Big 51 was a secondary pass rusher on that third down, and he benefited off of number one of the pass route and the passing concepts of Southeast. Nothing really challenged the defense past 5 yards, which allowed everybody to essentially snug tight to the offensive receivers and allowed Hall to get that sack right there. Really good job there by Creighton Prep of not only dictating the pace, but then executing their defense.
Creighton Prep had to rush an 11th guy on the field real quickly at the last second. They're going to field the punt. Jake Carney with the football on the return. He fielded it off the bounce, has a little bit of running room across the 40, across the 35, and he's shoved out of bounds just past the 30-yard line. And so for the second consecutive possession, thanks to the Creighton Prep defense and a good return, Creighton Prep is going to start their drive this time inside the Knights' 30-yard line at the opponent's 29.
Yeah, really good job there by Carney. And sometimes when this is like an off-schedule play here. Nick, how many times have we seen punt returners catch it off the bounce, defense runs right past them? I think the confusion of the late defender from Creighton Prep came on, really confused Southeast, kicked it, and Carney got a huge punt return, and now they're right back where they started. Nick, this is the second possession here in the first quarter, and has literally been at the 40-yard line or plus for Creighton Prep.
They turn, they fake the handoff to Carney. Rolling to his left is Lammers. Quick pass out near side. It's dropped by number 24. That's Woodard on the who was the intended target, just around the numbers at the 25-yard line. It went through his hands. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, really good job there, obviously, by Southeast Zay Bolin. When you have a route that looks like it's open, you play right through the offensive player, and as a defender, you go and try to rake the ball out. Really good job by Southeast and Zay Bolin there of causing the miscatch there. So now what they have to do now, Nick, you know exactly what's coming. You know they're going to run tight splits inside the tackle. They're going to test you, and it's not just about strength. It's will you hold your gap and own your gap and then play football after you get off a block.
3 down linemen defensively. Back to passes Lammers. He gets hit as he throws. It's a wobbly ball intended for Cockmick. Good pressure from the left side by the defender. That was number 22 for Lincoln Southeast on the pressure, Amari Prince.
Yep.
And nice job there. That was Beckham Rice, rather. 3rd and 10.
And we saw him last week, right? As soon as he was supposed to be the go-to running back, obviously – he did a little bit, but Bukowski took that. Then he went on defense and made 2 huge plays last week against Southwest. Right there, he comes off the bench, a little bit of a hybrid blitz off the right side. He did a really good job of distracting the quarterback and trying to swipe the ball, which caused the quarterback to loft the ball way too high.
3rd down and 10, 3.5 to play in the first quarter, 7-0 Creighton Prep over Lincoln Southeast. Rolling to his right off the shotgun snap is Lammers. He plants his feet. The pass was tipped, and there was nobody really in the vicinity of that football. And now Lincoln Southeast, 4th and 10 for the Creighton Prep offense, and we'll see what head coach Tim Yonk wants to do. It looks like he's going to rush his field goal kicking unit back onto the field. Once again, this is number 95, Rory McGarry, who just less than 5 minutes ago missed a 26-yard field goal with the wind at his back. This one going to be a 46-yard attempt.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, if you got confidence in your kicker, you got confidence in your kicker. You kind of slice one, like what we know, right? The first one. And now we're going to line you up at 46 yards on the road, see if you can put another 3 points on the board for Creighton Prep.
2 seconds on the play clock. They snap it just in time. Good hold, and the kick. It's a line drive kick, and that one is good. Rory McGarry bounces back. He missed the 26-yard chip shot, but thanks to the 11-mile-an-hour wind at his back, he just barely got that 46-yard attempt through the uprights in line drive fashion. 3:21 to go in the first quarter. It's 10-0. Creighton Prep on top of Lincoln Southeast. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Seacrest Field. After a 46-yard field goal by Rory McGarry is good for the Junior Jays. They extend their lead 10-0. Offensively, the Junior Jays, Jay, have not been able to really do a whole lot, but it's been some positive field position to start out for the Jays. And Lincoln Southeast defense has bowed up rather more times than not.
Yeah, and they've had their back against the wall. We talked about sudden change, multiple times through our times of calling games, and they've done a really good job of dealing with sudden change. And so if I'm Coach Catula, right, we've kind of been playing defense the whole game. We've been kind of, just being jabs, and we're defense, because I'm making a reference to the Bud Crawford fight against Canelo tomorrow night. Now you got to get on the offensive, and you don't get on the offensive by just chucking and ducking. You got to think, okay, how can we attack this big physical defense line, this big physical first and second level? And they play zone. So they're playing to their strengths, so they don't feel like they can guard one-on-one. I would like to see some shifts, some motions, some mesh routes, crossing routes, to get Aaron Sim and company going.
They'll turn, fake the handoff, send back to pass, a wide open target on the far side, a first down and more. That's Brooks Gordon as he sheds 2 tackles across the 45, across midfield, and shoved out of bounds in Creighton Prep Junior J territory. It's 1st and 10, an easy pitch and catch for Gavin Sim to Brooks Gordon.
Yeah, Gavin Sim and company, and I think that was number 8, Nate Applegate. That's a big physical tight end linebacker, almost to the status I'll call him Baby Gronk. What do? You don't think plays, you think players. Really good call there by Coach Gatula. Even better execution by Gavin Sim and Nate Applegate.
My bad, number 8, not number 4, but yes, Nate Applegate. That's his 5th catch of the season. 1st and 10 now from the 47-yard line. 3:09 to go in the opening quarter. Gavin Sim under center, one back, and that's Brecken Bokowski lined up a couple of yards behind him. And I think they got a false start on number 72. That's going to be going on Nick Squires, the right tackle for Lincoln Southeast.
Yeah, look, he fell for the okie doke, Nick. And number 51 is feeling good about himself. Aaron Shaw, not only did he get a sack last series, he kind of shifted a little bit. And now sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, there's a penalty for that. Shifted a little bit and caused Southeast to jump, but nevertheless, the Southeast can feel that they're on the attack. And, to be honest with you, Nick, when they were at 2nd and 18, they essentially had, more than the first down. So if they're 1st and 15, they can go right back to any play that they've called. That long as executed, they can get a first down against this Creighton Prep defense.
1st and 15 now after the penalty on their own 48-yard line. 3 minutes and 9 seconds to go. Quick pass out near side this time to Brooks Gordon. All the running room. There's a penalty flag on the play, so this one's going to be coming back. I think they might have gotten meta for holding the defender and taking him down to the turf on the block.
A little 3-on-3 crime right there. They got meta there for a hold, especially at the point of attack. And I don't know if he got ran over by Colin Corrigan or that Colin Corrigan did a really good job of selling it. I think they were stalemated. I think Mason Meta fell down a little bit. He kind of rolled over him, and it was an easy call there for the ref.
3:04 to go, and so after that penalty, it'll be 10 yards from the spot of that foul, and it occurred on the Creighton Prep 48-yard line. So now moving that ball back 10 yards will be 1st and 21 from the Lincoln Southeast 42-yard line after the electric play on the first play of this drive to Nate Applegate that got him across midfield. 2 consecutive penalties have backed them up in 11 yards. And so now they're going to have to figure out a way to start to trim the distance to that first down marker that's sitting all the way on the opponent's side of the 40-yard line. Here back to pass on 1st down and long. Stepping up, evading pressure is Sim. He lunges forward for a short gain of maybe 2 yards up to the 44-yard line, 2nd down and 19.
The one thing I want to say about this Creighton Prep there, coached by Tim Jonk, former Husker, is they're a really good tackling team. Fundamentally, they look really good. They're big physical defensive line, couple big linebackers. Corrigan is having a game tonight so far in his first, I was going to say quarter and a half. This is the first quarter. Really coming out of coverage and making tackles against Gavin Sim and company. And so now they're keeping Southeast behind the chains. And you can't panic here, right? You got a ton of time left, and you have explosive players on offense. You just got to be patient and get them the ball when you can.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, and right before the snap on 2nd down and long, Ryan Gatula wants to talk things over yet again. That's the 2nd time out of the half charged to Lincoln Southeast, and we're not even through the first quarter of play. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here. It's 2nd and 19 when we return on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Seacrest Field. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman. Minute 57 to go in the first quarter. It's 10-0. Junior Jays on top of the Knights.
Well, Nick, we've seen plenty of teams that usually play Southeast. Use burn their timeouts to completely Southwest. And so now, Nate Applegate with a little bit of dead leg. Now you see Southeast burn 2 timeouts in the first quarter. That cannot bode well for Gatula in his stress level here on the sideline.
So on 2nd and 19, good gain of about 11 up to the 44-yard line, or rather 46. Let's try that again. 46-yard line of Creighton Prep. 3rd down and 9 coming up here from the Junior Jays 46. 1:49 to play in the first quarter. It's 10-0. Creighton Prep on top of Lincoln Southeast, but the Knights finally been able to get across midfield for the first time this evening. Rolling out to the right is Sim, looking to pass, throws it right side, just over the head of the defender, intended for Caden Ward. It's hauled in. Angelo Walker almost got his left mitt on that one, but Ward was able to bring it in. It's a first down up to the 34-yard line.
Really good job there, changing up how the levels of how you're attacking this Creighton Prep zone defense. What did I say at the beginning of the first quarter? You're going to have to run mesh routes, crossing routes, and this is a deep over route. Use your athletes to run through the windows of the zone, and you're able to attack it, because I think Aaron Sim can either feather the ball or gun it in there if he needs to.
So 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line of Creighton Prep. 1:42 to go in the first quarter. They turn, hand it off. Bukowski trying to get some space right side. Does so up to the 30-yard line, out of bounds at the 29. And so a nice gain of 4, maybe 5, up to the 29.5-yard line. And it's going to be 2nd down and medium.
Yeah, but Bukowski at 5'9", 155 pounds showed that he can run big and run behind his pads like he did last week. A really good job of running that inside zone, bouncing it outside, and I don't think Creighton Prep was ready for his speed.
So now 2nd down and 5 after the Bukowski run cut the distance in half on 1st down. They'll break the huddle, 2 wideouts to the far side in the form of Shamar Teeler and Brooks Gordon in the slot. Running back is Bukowski. Under center, it's Gavin Sim. Takes the toss, or rather tosses it left side. And it looked like they were trying to give it back to Brooks Gordon, who was motioning the other way. But Bukowski just said, you know what, we're just going to try to dive forward and get a couple of yards. Creighton Prep was in the backfield pretty quick.
Yeah, it looked like it was the timing. That's a timing play. And I think you have to really get your running game going before you go to a little bit of a misdirection play, maybe a little bit too cute. But it might let you know that Southeast feels like they're getting something going offensively. It might be 4-down territory, because they feel very comfortable with what they've been doing so far.
Less than 30 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Lincoln Southeast with the football, down by 10 to Creighton Prep. Shotgun formation, 2 wideouts near side, 1 running back to the left hip. It's Bukowski. Quick pass left side to, that is Mason Meda, or rather Nate Applegate on the left side. Near that 1st down line to gain, I think he got about 5 yards when he needed 6. He'll be about 1.5 yards shy.
Yeah, I thought that he had the 1st down, but obviously we're way across the field. But I like the attack right now by Ryan Gatula. Not thinking plays, he's thinking players, right? I think right now where you think offensively, the offensive line versus their defensive line, I'd say Creighton Prep has the advantage. The tight end position, skill position, quarterback, and being able to do that, I think that's where Southeast guys to make their hay going into the second quarter.
That is the end of the first quarter. After 1 period of play, it's 10-0. Creighton Prep over Lincoln Southeast. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sainert alongside Jay Foreman here as we are getting ready to start the second quarter of play. Lincoln Southeast trails Creighton Prep 10-0. However, the Knights have been pretty strong defensively. The one touchdown for the Junior Jays came in the form of a pick six on the opening drive of the matchup. It's going to be fourth down, and I will categorize it as inches. It's at the 24.5-yard line. They got to get to the 24. They're going to come out, the Knights are, on fourth down and short in single back formation. Under center, it's Sim. One wide out to each side. As Bokowski, it's going to be a quarterback keeper. Gavin Sim just barrels his way forward for a gain of 3.
I like that play, considering that Creighton Prep did a really good job of timing up the snap count in the first quarter and getting a couple of tackles for losses. And I think that Gavin Sim did a really sneaky good job there at quarterback. So they look for the bubble of the defense or the dead spot of the defense, and he not only picked up the first down, he got a couple extra yards.
First and 10 now for the Knights on their drive that, for the first time, have been able to really get something going offensively and does any sort of rhythm. A nice job by Ryan Gatula and his staff for settling down the Knights' offense. It'll be first and 10 from the Creighton Prep 22-yard line. 2 running backs are I formation with the tight end out there. They turn, fake the handoff, looking to Nate Applegate in the near corner of the end zone, just out of reach for number 8 in black. Nate Applegate had one-on-one coverage on the near side of the end zone. In coverage was Jake Carney, the defensive back for the Junior Jays. It falls incomplete, brings up second down and 10.
Yeah, I like that play right there, right? You get a first down, you get a fourth down. It's almost letting you know, like, we're going for it again, and it's the time to take a shot for Southeast, which I would see any place over the 50. Nate Applegate is, 6'2", 6'3", 220 pounds, ran the sluggo route. That's a slant and go just over his outstretched hands. I like the play call. I think you're starting to see their skill position players take over this game as far as going against this Creighton Prep defense.
They take the shotgun snap, quick pass out far side. They pitch it back. It's a fumble on the play, and that is a unfortunate mistake there for Lincoln Southeast as they passed it on the little slant and stop. I don't know if that's the correct football terminology for you, to Nate Applegate. He tried to pitch it back to Bokowski, and it went past Bokowski, a loss of about 4 yards back to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, that's a learning experience there for Brecken Bokowski, is that you ran a little bit of a curl there and you kind of run. It's almost like the old school option route or option where, you trail Nate Applegate and he gets you up the sideline. Bokowski didn't run with enough speed. Nate Applegate was ready to get to him. It's almost a timing. Catch it and pitch it real quick. He was 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Third down and 14 now. 10.5 to go in the first half. Back to pass. It's Sim looking left side. Has Bokowski on the near side across the 20, inside the 15. He'll be a few yards shy of that first down line to gain. But now it's decision time, Jay. You have the wind at your back if you're Lincoln Southeast. It's a 10-point ball game, and it looks like Ryan Gatula is going to send his field goal kicking unit on the field to attempt the 32-yard field goal.
I like the decision. Normally we probably say go for it, but I think when you've been struggling to get some good feelings offensively and you had a really good drive right there and you feel good with your kicking game and you have the wind behind your back, I think you go for it or you kick the field goal. I like the decision there by Coach Gatula.
The sophomore kicker, Carlo Rossetto, on to attempt the 32-yard field goal. With the wind at his back, the hold is good. A kick is up, and that kick goes well through the uprights. Had plenty of leg and a little wind behind it to trim the Junior Jays lead to 7. It's now 10-3. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here from Seacrest Field on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With 10:23 to go in the second quarter, the Knights have trimmed the Junior Jays lead to 10-3. And Jay, first time tonight we saw a little rhythm offensively for the Knights, but then also you look up at the scoreboard, and if you are Lincoln Southeast and head coach Ryan Gatula, you're sitting there saying, take away the pick six, and we got a tie ball game.
We got a tie ball game, and you're not really worried. I mean, not really. Of course you're worried about it because you're down by a touchdown, but I think now you're starting to see Southeast settle in and play football. And, you come out, this is a big game, right, for both teams, but primarily for Southeast. this whole aura of playing a Metro or Omaha team, and they come down here and it's a well-coached and well-schooled team in Creighton Prep. A little nervous, and you expect that, and they played like it. Now I think they're starting to settle in. I think you're starting to see Mason Meta take over. A big play by Caden Ward on that drive. Nate Applegate is stepping up both on defense and offense, and then obviously Gavin Sim is able to do some things. So now they need to go out there and then do what they've been doing the last couple of drives defensively, to be honest with you, is, turning the ball over. And so if I'm Ryan Gatula, obviously I don't want to be down by 7 points, but I like where we're at as a young and upcoming team, able to battle back.
So now Creighton Prep head coach Tim Yonk, his offense comes back out onto the field. It's 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line following the touchback. They'll have to work into the 10-mile-an-hour wind that's blowing in their face, heading towards that south end zone here at Seacrest Field. They toss it right side to Angelo Walker, and he gets spun around and taken down, driven back. Number 2, Tyrese Goody, in on the stop first for Lincoln Southeast.
Yeah, really good job by Tyrese Goody coming in and cleaning up after what Trey O'Hara initially did. He came in, Trey O'Hara took on the block, forced it back to Goody. Really good tackle there. Now you're 2nd and 10. Like I said, when they were, potentially going to be down by 2 scores, Southeast has done some good things on defense, and they've continued to do so.
Trey O'Hara, as Jay mentioned, and on the stop as well, he's the team-high leading tackler with 14 on the year coming into tonight's game. Now, Walker again, this time taken down by Nate Applegate for a loss of 1 on the play, and yet again, quickly, Lincoln Southeast been able to bow up defensively and force now a 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Yonk over there, I'm not too excited how fast we're running these plays, right? We get a run play for 0 yards, come right out and snap the ball with 25 seconds left and get a tackle for loss. So now if I'm Southeast, what am I thinking? I'm thinking number 24, number 80 on skinny post out of the slot. We have to cover these guys down within 10 yards.
3rd down and 11. Jack Lammers, the Creighton Prep quarterback in shotgun. 2 wideouts each side, looking as he has no pressure up in his grill. Now this one almost intercepted. It is taken away. Number 14, Zay Bolin, inside the 10-yard line, and it's going to be 1st and goal for Lincoln Southeast. It looked like from up here, Zay Bolin bobbled it for a moment. I thought he dropped it, but he kept on running inside the 10 and taken out of bounds by the quarterback, Jack Lammers. And so as Creighton Prep in the first quarter on the first drive of the game had a pick 6, Lincoln Southeast finally able to get a turnover of their own and stay set up 1st and goal from the 4.
Really good job there by Zay Bolin of breaking downhill through the defender and playing the ball. Really good job. That's a great teaching moment and technique by those defensive coaches that played out here in the game. But I also want to talk about Beckham Rice, right? He was a little confused. He really confused Creighton Prep there because he looked like he was blitzing, covered the outlet of the running back, which made him go back to Zay Bolin's guy. Zay Bolin saw that, read it perfectly. Good job.
1st and goal. They turn, toss it left side. Here is Bokowski. Cuts up field, now has it outside. He's trying to lunge forward. Did he get there? Touchdown, Lincoln Southeast. And they are an extra point away from tying this one up with just under 9 minutes to go until half.
Just like that, you got a ball game. What do? You got them on the heels, a little bit of a loser's lean. What we talked about before? Sudden change. Suddenly you're over there drinking Gatorade. Then you go from drinking Gatorade to on the field. And now you got an excited home team in the Southeast Knights, 1 extra point away from tying this ball game up when just 10 or 15 minutes ago, we thought that they were dead in the water. This is a game of momentum. We're in for a doozy tonight.
Rossetto in to attempt the extra point for the Knights. Good hold. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 8 minutes and 54 seconds to play in the second quarter, and we are tied. Number 4, Creighton Prep 10, Lincoln Southeast 10 as well. We're all tied up. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and...
Jay Foreman back with you. 8:54 to play in the second quarter. 10-10. We're all knotted up here at Seacrest. A warmer night. Jay, I think that they were kind enough to turn on the heat for us last week up in our press box.
They got it on right now.
They got it on right now.
Yeah, it's a
little warm up in here.
Yeah, man, it's bacon. Like we're gonna come out like we're cooked up with like some bacon, but we're all good. It's a great night, and it's going to be interesting to see if the heat plays a little bit of a factor, right? Because you've been having you had really, really hot temperatures, the cool temperatures. Sometimes when you have cool temperatures, guys don't hydrate, and so you got to hydrate all week. But we have a really good game here, Nick. I like it. Creighton Prep came out of the gates. That's what you do when you're on the road. You try to throw haymakers and knock them out early. Southeast withstood it, standing 8 count, and now they're right back in the ball game. Now it's just 0-0, and the best team's going to win.
Touchback on the kickoff. That'll make it 1st and 10 from the Creighton Prep 20-yard line. And now how does the quarterback, senior 6'3", Jack Lammers, who just threw his second interception of the season and allowed Lincoln Southeast to set up shop inside the 5-yard line. How does Jack Lammers respond? We've seen Angelo Walker, his name get called quite a few times in the running department. And one name we haven't heard since the first play from scrimmage offensively for Creighton Prep is the leading receiver, Sheldon Galladay. We'll see if Creighton Prep can get him active on this drive. It's 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. One running back is Walker, one wide out to the near side in Woodard. They turn, hand it off. Here's Walker up the left side, just outside the hash marks. Rather, that's Jake Carney, number 22, on the carry. And that's a gain of 8 on 1st down.
Well, Creighton Prep went back to the old bread and butter, inside zone. And this is the only way that I think that they're going to be able to be effectively running the ball, because on the edges, right, where you got Mason Meta and you got Caden Ward, that's not happening out there. And then so in the little bit smaller defensive line at Southeast, they got to do a really good job of holding point. Then Nate Applegate and O'Hara have to pay dividends inside.
2nd down and 2. We'll see if Lammers resorts to passing this football on 2nd and short. He changed it, goes under center now after he was in shotgun formation. They turn, hand it off. Here's Angelo Walker, has the 1st down, runs into his own guy, now has a little bit of space across the 40, and is taken down shy of the 45-yard line at the 43. 1st down, Creighton Prep.
Yeah, they're doing a really, really good job of sealing the inside guys of Lincoln Southeast and being able to get a little bit of a softer edge against the Southeast defense. And so what they have to do is make an adjustment and understand where they're running. They run to the tight end or open side, but more importantly, they got to play better with their hands and leverage, or Creighton Prep is going to essentially try to line up and really take control of this game from a physical standpoint and really lay some body blows that pay off in the second half.
Lammers is under center, 2 wideouts near side, 1 to the top. They turn, hand it off. Here's Walker again, rather Carney, as he gets stood up and stopped for a loss of 1 on the play back at the 42-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down and 11. A couple of Knights in on the stop, including Beckham Rice and Tyrese Goody.
Yeah, what they're trying to do, what they really made strides with in their running game was running away from Nate Applegate. This play they ran towards or wearing to him ended up in a 2-yard loss for the Creighton Prep Blue Jays. So now you can see what they're trying to do. So if I'm Southeast and the defensive coaches, I'm really trying to send blitzes away from Nate Applegate, expecting him to make plays right at him.
Under center, it's Lammers. He turns, hands it off again. A lot of running room for Jake Carney. He lowers his shoulder at midfield, and it's a nice gain of about 11 yards up across the 50-yard line, or rather, they're going to mark him right at the 49-yard line of Lincoln Southeast. And so that brings up 3rd down and 2.
Creighton Prep with pretty much a G power there to the tight end side, caught Southeast in a run blitz, and it was the perfect call for the perfect good call on defense, and was able to get an explosive run. Now they're right back on schedule, right? A 9-yard run. Now they're at 3rd and 3. That the 50-yard line potentially could be 4-down territory because they have a really good place kicker for the Creighton Blue Jays.
In 3rd and 3 from the 50-yard line, they got to get to the 47 of Lincoln Southeast. They turn, blowing up the backfield. It's Meta, but somehow escaping the tackle. It's Walker. He somehow gets to the line of scrimmage. Not sure how that was not a loss of 3 on the play or even more, but it's 4th down and 3. And as Jay just said, big decision for Tim Yonk and the Creighton Prep Junior Jays staff. And it looks like they're going to punt this ball away and try to pin Southeast deep.
We saw this all game, last game from Mason Meta, right? Just destroying Southwest Silverhawks in the backfield. He cranked up the pressure right there, a la Michael Parsons. Really good job by Southeast. Bend but no break, but made adjustments on the fly. Really good job there for the Southeast Knights.
Brooks Gordon will be back to return this punt for Lincoln Southeast. 5.5 to go until halftime, and it looks like Creighton Prep wants to talk things over. They're going to call a timeout. 5.5 minutes exactly left on the game clock here in the second quarter. We are all tied up at 10, and Creighton Prep just called their first timeout of the half. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sander, Jay Foreman back with you from Seacrest Field, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. 4th down and 3 coming up from midfield. Brooks Gordon, the return man for the Knights, after a Creighton prep timeout. Kind of a peculiar timeout there, and they're going to think about faking it. They didn't get the look, and so it's a line drive punt. Takes a very friendly Creighton prep bounce, but will it stop up? It checks up like my wedge shot at the local golf course, inside the 5 and down at the 4-yard line. That's where 1st and 10 for Lincoln Southeast.
Yeah, it looked like Coach Jonk had been hanging out with Mike Eckler, a la Nebraska's punter. A little bit of a rugby-style rollout to the right, a little line drive. It would be a hooded 6-iron for you out of the woods that checked up at the green. It was a magnificent shot there, or a punt there. Really good job also by the coverage team. You could tell that they practice it, is running past the ball and then retreating and making sure it doesn't go in the end zone.
5 minutes and 21 seconds to go until half. It's 10-10 between the Creighton Prep Junior Jays and the Lincoln Southeast Knights here on the ticket. It's a single back formation. One wide out to each side. Under center, Sem hands it off to the running back. This is Bokowski, and he gets stopped for a loss of 1 back to the 3-yard line. This is why, if you're Creighton Prep, you okay punt it there.
Yep.
But I'm saying you punt it there because if you're able to execute it like they were, it now backs Lincoln Southeast up, and it's the chess, not checkers type of metaphor to where if Lincoln Southeast has to punt it from their own end zone, they do have the wind behind them, but you're probably going to get some pretty good field position.
And Lincoln Southeast only has 1 timeout, so when you get the ball, or if they're able to get the ball back in an emergency situation here at the end of the first half, they will not be able to stop the clock.
Brecken Bokowski, the lone back, as Gavin Sim, the quarterback, is under center. 2 wideouts far side. They turn. They hand it off. Once again, Bokowski trying to navigate his way up the middle with all those big bodies and unable to get a whole lot of yards, but gets a little more breathing room across the 5-yard line and taken down at the 7-yard line. So 3rd down and 7 coming up with 4 minutes and 21 seconds to play until half.
I'm thinking players, not plays, right? Mason Meta checks himself back in the game. I don't know if Nate Applegate is back in the game. Zay Boland's in, so I'm thinking athlete for athlete. I like my chances. A soft zone by Creighton Prep. I'm trying to take advantage of that right now.
3rd down and 7, 4:05 to play in the second quarter. We're all tied up at 10. Shotgun formation. Bokowski to the left hip of Gavin Sim. 2 wideouts far side. They turn, hand it off. Bokowski trying to bounce off tacklers, and Creighton Prep says no sirree. Number 66 for the Junior Jays in on the stop. Roberto Sadizik was in on the stop, spun Bokowski down, and with 3:45 and counting to play until half, Lincoln Southeast has to punt it right back to the Junior Jays.
Yeah, you're backed up, and obviously you had the little bit of a remorse there, PTSD, where you had a pick 6, and so you had a real conservative play call. I understand it. Southeast is hoping to get one more chance. If not, they go into halftime without the ball and then start the second half watching their defense against Creighton Prep.
Creighton Prep returner standing at the Southeast 45-yard line. They will have the wind at their back. It's a high punt, still rather conservative. Good field position coming up for Creighton Prep, as that's a good block there. Nico Kochmick in on the return. He gets taken down near the 20-yard line. And so when it's all said and done, it's going to be about a 14-yard punt for Lincoln Southeast, and Creighton Prep will start on the edge of the red zone with 3:06 to play until half.
Yeah, Creighton Prep did a really good job of, like you said, playing chess, not checkers, situational football, playing the clock versus your timeouts, the situationing of pinning you back, a field position game. Really, now they have Lincoln Southeast kind of, on their heels, and so they play better when they have you in advantageous positions offensively. And so you got to think a big inside-outside zone. They're going to try to get at least 3 points here with no time left on the clock.
1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. It was officially a 15-yard punt. Quick pass into the right side. It's caught on the slant pattern by number 21. That's Brody Austin on the reception, and that'll be good for a gain of about 13 yards up to the 10-yard line. 1st and goal coming up for the Creighton Prep offense.
Yeah, they're thinking like, okay, we got the defense soft. You're expecting run, and a big 13-yard pass right there really softens that defense up. So now they're able to really look at the clock and really predict how many more plays they'll have before they get a chance to score 7 points.
2 minutes and 44 seconds to go. Creighton Prep will also receive the second half kickoff. So a little bit of 2-for-1 potential here if Creighton Prep manages it correctly. Single back formation. It's Angelo Walker in the backfield. He gets the handoff to the left side, navigates his way through and into the end zone. Touchdown, Creighton Prep on the 10-yard scamper by the running back, Angelo Walker. He scores his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, and he puts the Junior Jays of Creighton Prep on top 16-10.
Yeah, you got the ball right there in the red zone, or essentially a turnover there, even though it was a punt. 2 plays, 6 points. That's what Junior Jays want. Now, if I'm Southeast, I'm like, okay, we gave them 7 points, or we didn't give them. They did it. They just got it, better executed field position. So now we got 2 minutes, 2-minute drill to really tie this game up and get the momentum back going into halftime.
McGarry's extra point is good, as it will just barely graze the bottom bar of the uprights. But other than that, it's 17-10. The Creighton Prep Junior Jays, they capitalize on really good field position, a 2-play, 21-yard drive that took less than a minute off the clock, and they now lead at 17-10 with 2:28 to go until half. Now, if you're Lincoln Southeast, you're probably going to get this ball. We have yet to see somebody actually kick off into the wind. You're probably going to get this ball with some good field position at the start of this drive, in more favorable field position than a normal touchback would be,
Right.
You have 2 minutes and 28 seconds to work with. 1 timeout, though.
Yeah, but you feel like with your passing attack, with your skill position guys, you feel very comfortable. This is where you can activate Nate Applegate, Caden Ward, Mason Maida. You could get Bukowski out of the backfield or on some screens, because now you're in hurry-up mode. Now you're not in panic mode.
Yeah.
You got to get a first couple of positive yards, maybe a first down or 2. Then you can really crank up the aggressive level as far as taking shots down the field.
Especially with the wind at your back here tonight. It's calmed down a little bit, sitting around 7 to 8 miles an hour of wind. We opened the broadcast with it over 10 blowing through that north end zone here at Seacrest Field. And Southeast will have the wind at their back to maybe aid the passing game a little bit, but Gavin Sim will have to find his receivers on this one. A short kick. It's going to be allowed to bounce, fielded off the shoe tops by the return man, Brooks Gordon, and he'll be taken down near the 25-yard line. And so you mentioned they got to charge that one, probably catch that one on the fly rather than letting it bounce.
Yeah, it's like what we talk about sometimes on the punt return. The coverage team will run right past you, and you can get an explosive return on that. But I don't fault Brooks Gordon there. He wanted to ensure that he caught the ball and make sure it wasn't in a catch the ball and get hit and you fumble it. So now with Southeast coming out here, where the last series was kind of a throwaway series, right? You're backed up. You're just trying to see if you can get a lucky first down. Being interesting to see how they attack this defense, the zone defense of Creighton Prep.
2:24 to go until halftime. The Knights trail by 7 to Creighton Prep. They get the ball 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line. Back to pass, Gavin Sim. Passes right side, wide open receiver in soft coverage. It's Nate Applegate. He was wide open. The defender was still about 5 yards off of him. It's a gain of 15 or so up to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Nate Applegate is showing you what he can do. And obviously when you need a big play, you go to one of your best players. I think he's going to the University of North Dakota and full ride football scholarship, and he's been playing varsity since the freshman year. Made himself to a really good linebacker, but when he ran that sluggo, is letting you know that he can go deep. And so the soft coverage by number 10 there from Creighton Prep, Vincent Saul, lets you know how much respect they have for Nate Applegate.
1st and 10 from their own 43-yard line after the 18-yard pitch and catch to Applegate. Back to pass on 1st down. Sim rolls out to the right. He evades pressure, rolls out of the pocket, going to tuck and run, gets upended by the defender near the 45-yard line. Gain of 2 on the scramble. It's 2nd and 8, but Sim looks to be okay.
Yeah, good job there by Colin Kerrigan. Again, coming out of coverage, right, and making a really good tackle against a little bit of elusive quarterback in Gavin Sim. So, again, if I'm Lincoln Southeast, I'm feeling good. We have 1 timeout left, so you can't huddle up here. Now they got to get a little bit of a sense of urgency. We got to get a 5-hour energy in their system going here, and you got 1 minute and 10 seconds left to try to score before half.
1:10 to go. 2nd and 8 is the down and distance. Pass back, right side, it's caught. This one going to be a 1st down and more for Caden Ward across the 40-yard line of Creighton Prep. and into Junior Jay's territory goes the Southeast offense as we are close to 60 seconds to play until the halftime break.
Yeah, really. Look, you feel like you have a mismatch over there against Vincent Saul right now, right? Soft coverage, right? Vincent Saul looks like the size of a linebacker. So they feel like if you put Nate Applegate over there, Caden Ward, Mason Meta is going to get double coverage now. You feel like you can make some money over there. Excuse me.
1st and 10 from the Junior Jay's 39-yard line. 45 seconds to play until half. Quick pass out right side, caught by Ward. And this might be when Ryan Gatula wants to call a timeout.
Yep.
He does. That's going to burn his final timeout of the first half. While we have a break in the action, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on 93.7 The Ticket. Field, you are listening to KNTK FM 93.7 The Ticket. Tower out in Firth, Nebraska. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you as we are less than 40 seconds to play until the halftime break. It's 17-10. Creighton Prep out in front by a touchdown over the Lincoln Southeast Knights. The ball is spotted at the Junior Jay's 36-yard line, but now the Southeast Knights without any timeouts to play the final 40 seconds of this second quarter.
Yeah, right now you're thinking if I'm Coach Gatula, not only we get to sell our defense down and try to figure our offense down, and to figure out how we're going to try to get this first down on second down. We're having the 2 plays called and a potentially emergency field goal because we don't have any more timeouts left.
2nd down and 7 from the 36-yard line. Got to get to the 29, and we are ready to play again. Shotgun snap, looking to pass Gavin Sim. Surveying, rushes out left side of the pocket. He's going to tuck and run near that sideline, get inside the 30-yard line, and out of bounds at the 29. Move the chains for a first down. That's a play that took 9 seconds off the game clock, and so we have exactly 30 showing on the ticker until the second half comes to a close. It's 17-10, Creighton Prep. Lincoln Southeast, though, trying to get some points before half. Creighton Prep will get the football to start quarter number 3. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. They break the huddle, shotgun snap as it's an empty shotgun look for Gavin Sim. 3 wideouts to the far side, 2 to the near side as they are on the left hash mark. Sim back to pass, steps up and trying to evade pressure. Unable to do so as he goes down for the sack. Number 55, Jake Brock in on the stop. They're going to have to get over the ball and probably spike this one. I think if you're Ryan Gatula, you might want to rush your field goal unit onto the field after this spike. They spike it at the 30. 10-second show on the game clock, and we'll see what head coach Ryan Gatula wants to talk about and do things.
So right now, if I'm Creighton Prep, I'm sitting on any routes right now. They can't run the ball. It's going to be an outside pass to try to get the receivers out of bounds. And so now if I'm Ryan Gatula, I got to have my field goal unit ready. My message to Gavin Sim is, if it's not wide open, I want it in the stands. And then I want my field goal unit out there immediately so my kicker can get settled down and potentially get us 3 points.
3rd down and 11 from the 30-yard line. It is a shotgun formation, 2 wideouts far side.
You think they have enough time, Nick, to go up top?
They're going to take the snap, looking that way, looking left. He steps up. He goes down and fumbles the football. Gavin Sim, he fumbles the football at the line of scrimmage. And guess who? Number 55, Jake Brock in on the stop and in on the fumble recovery. There is a penalty marker after the play on the Creighton Prep Junior Jays. I'm expecting that this will probably be some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct, but my initial thought is since it came after the play that the fumble will still stand.
Yeah, Gavin Simmons, back-to-back plays, you can't take sacks, right? Because the sacks are essentially stymie any chance to get a field goal. And, you got to know this is just a learning process of understanding how to play situational football. This is what every quarterback goes through, whether it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes Monday nights, or anytime you play football, is learning how to settle down and just play the time and situation. The first time you took a sack, you were able to spike it. The second time, you have to know if it's not open immediately, it needs to be in the stands because we need our field goal kicker a chance to get us a field goal going into halftime.
So it was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Creighton Prep. That'll make it 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. They're going to kneel this one and be content with going into the halftime locker room with a touchdown lead. There's 4 seconds still showing on the game clock, but once they snap this one and Jack Lammers kneels it like he does, that will signal the end of the first half. We'll step aside. When we come back, we will send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket studios for the halftime show, and then bring it back out here with a few minutes before the third quarter of action. At the half, your score, the Creighton Prep Junior Jays 17, the Lincoln Southeast Knights 10, as the Junior Jays will receive the second half kickoff in a few short moments. It's the halftime show on 93.7 The Ticket.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I know usually y'all are pretty accustomed to having Austin over here, but now you got me. You're stuck with Rudy Gress over here for your halftime report. Let's see if I can do it just as good as Austin has. I think I've been trained pretty well. So if we start off with just some scores around the area, we got Cody Kilgore taking Santee in the win there, 66-6. We got Hemingford winning 64-0 against Bayard. We got Stewart taking the win 41-19 against Silver Lake. We currently, not currently, final. We have Meridian beating Lewiston 30-14. We have South Loop losing to Perkins County 22-26. We have currently at halftime as well, Blue Hill against Giltner. We are Blue Hill 54, Giltner 6. Papillion La Vista 22-0 against Millard North right now. Lincoln Southwest, Papillion La Vista 9-9 in the second quarter. Omaha North 13, Omaha Central 6. We got Wynot 16 against the Archangels Catholic 14 right now going into halftime as well. Lincoln Northeast 21, Benson 0, Adams Central 6, Gothenburg 7 in the first quarter so far. We got a good one in Beatrice. We got Beatrice 21, Platteview 20. Number 13, Boone Creek 28 up against Battle Creek at 7. Twin Loop is winning 22-12 against Pleasanton right now going into the second quarter. We got East Butler winning 50-14 against Omaha Christian. And as we spoke on earlier, the Millard West was going to have a tough battle. They're down 23-0, losing to Omaha West Side right now in the second quarter. We got Hampton winning 42-0 against Harvard. We got Bryan winning 12-0 against South Sioux City going into the second quarter. Mitchell and Chadron just getting started right now, 0-0 in the first quarter. And we also have Wisner Pilger taking on David City, with Wisner winning 32-15 right now going into the second quarter as well. Gross Catholic 21 to Nebraska City 0. We got Raymond Central losing 0-8 against Arlington. Arlington with the lead in there. Sandy Creek's up 24-14 against Alma in the second quarter. We got Fort Calhoun 29-8 against Boys Town right now. Those are all the scores we can provide right now as we wait for some updates on some other games around the area. What's going on right now in college football? We got Houston beating Colorado 7-16, which not a surprise with the third-string quarterback rollout we were having there with Deion Sanders. The Royals, unfortunately, down 6-2 in the bottom of the seventh right now, but still some hope for the boys. Nebraska volleyball takes the win 3-1 against Utah tonight. And that's pretty much, we got a good matchup cooking right now in TCU, 1-1 against Missouri right now, a top 25 matchup. But more importantly, we have a great matchup brewing against Lincoln Southeast and Creighton Prep. Make sure to stay tuned. Don't miss anything at all. We got Nick Seinert and Jay Foreman on the call. You're not going to want to miss any more of what we got going on there. And for 93.7 The Ticket, it's Rudy Gress with your halftime report. Stay tuned.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC. With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Seacrest Field. Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman alongside. Your score at the half. The Creighton Prep Junior Jays 17, the Lincoln Southeast Knights 10 at the break. This was a game that started out in favor of the Junior Jays by a score of 10-0 at one point, thanks to a pick six and then a 46-yard field goal by Rory McGarry for Creighton Prep. They led it 10-0. Then a field goal by Rosetto of Lincoln Southeast, and then an interception by Zay Bolin that got Lincoln Southeast offense, gave them the chance to set up shop at the opponent's 4-yard line. One play, and they scored on a Brecken Bokowski 4-yard rushing touchdown to tie it up at 10. But then Angelo Walker was able to run it in after Creighton Prep started that drive at the Lincoln Southeast 21-yard line. It took them 2 plays, a pitch and catch to Woodard, and then a 10-yard rushing touchdown by Angelo Walker. And Jay, one of the consistent things that I said throughout that kind of synopsis of the first half has been field position. Creighton Prep has been able to start start their drives on the plus side of the 50, and even at more times than not on the plus side of the 40 against Lincoln Southeast. The defense has done a good job for the Knights, but you can't expect that to continue into the second half.
No, and they've been, kind of getting worn out because they've had a, pretty high number of plays, and, as far as on defense. And then also it takes away the good energy of your team when you see your defense and your team always backed up against the wall. And you got to think with Creighton Prep, they're making adjustments how to be a little bit more explosive on offense, considering that they get the ball here to start the second half. And now if you're Southeast, you feel really comfortable where you've been at defensively besides that last drive. You would have liked a little bit more resistance. And then, offensively, they got to just take care of the ball and, really get into situational football. You really got to get your defense and your team motivated, starting with the kickoff team. They cover the kick, but then more importantly, get the ball back to this offense. And then this is going to come down to one or two possessions in the fourth quarter. So Southeast has got to maybe try to take momentum this half, because the first half they've always kind of were playing defense and on their heels.
Yeah, we saw last week in Lincoln Southeast 26-9 victory against the Southwest Silverhawks. We saw Lincoln Southeast certainly play better football, more complimentary football in the second half than we did in the first half. I think if you're Ryan Gatula, you don't necessarily lean or expect that week in and week out, but you hope you get some of the same stuff here tonight.
I think the coaching staff that I'm just assuming that have been together for a while, they have some really good continuity, and they did a really good job of making adjustments, especially with their running game last week, to really find some holes against that Southwest Silverhawks defense. And so they're going to have to really do the same thing, not only offense, but defensively, make some adjustments, because Creighton Prep is going to do one thing and one thing only. They're going to try to really, really pound the ball inside, away from Nate Applegate. The timely, every once in a while, they'll run it to him, and it'll probably most likely be an outside play to where they can maybe create a soft edge. And so they got to tackle well. They got to expect Creighton Prep to maybe try to catch them off balance with some play action passes, and considering that they have the ball here to start the second half. And so if they play their fundamentals, they'll be fine. They just got to come out and start fast and get the ball back to Gavin Sim and company.
17-10, once again, your score at the break. Let's talk a little more about Creighton Prep here, Jay. When you look offensively and you see quarterback Jack Lammers under center, what have you liked about Jack Lammers? What are some areas that maybe he needs to get a little bit better at here in quarter number 3?
Well, I think obviously he knows what he's doing. Obviously, I don't, like the interception that, Bolin was able to get, but I think Bolin made a really, excellent play. And so I think he has a good command of the offense. I think he knows where he's going. And so you just want to see a little bit more decisiveness, right? One thing is to know where you're going. Another thing is to be decisive. And how do you do that? It's pre-snap diagnosis, but then more importantly, the anticipation for the, on the passing plays. And so a senior quarterback like that has been through some battles. He's well coached, and let's see what he does in the second half.
One thing to note, Jack Lammers has yet to complete a pass to his favorite target so far through 2 games. That's Sheldon Galladay. He had tried to get it to him on the first play from scrimmage on offense for Creighton Prep, unable to haul it in. Have yet to call Sheldon Galladay's name so far tonight. Let's step aside for 30 seconds and come back to start quarter number 3. Creighton Prep ball to start here in just a few moments on 93.7 The Ticket. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Seacrest Field. We're ready to get things rolling here at the start of the third quarter. Your score at the start of the third: Creighton Prep 17, number 8 Lincoln Southeast 10. Creighton Prep comes into this one ranked 4th in Class A's rankings. Lincoln Southeast will boot things here to start the second half of action with the back and heading towards the north end zone. Creighton Prep will have to go into the 9-mile-an-hour wind here at Seacrest Field to start in quarter number 3, obviously in a game that we expect to come down to rather close to the wire. Certainly the wind and your ability on special teams and field position is something to kind of keep an eye on here in the later stages. All right, fielded at the 1-yard line. There's going to be a return on the kickoff, and tackle is going to be made just shy of the 20-yard line at the 18, and that is where we'll see Jack Lammers and Angelo Walker and the rest of the Creighton Prep Junior Jays offense set up shop 1st and 10 at their own 18.
Yeah, Ryan Gatula and company like that first play, right? You kick it off and you tackle them inside the 20. That's a bonus if when you're doing your grading system at the college level. So it's definitely a bonus at the high school level. Now it's going to come out to this defense of the Knights that have played really well, in the first half. Besides that last drive, and they were backed up. They probably would have liked to not give up 7 points so easily. But let's see what adjustments they made at halftime against this big physical offensive line at Creighton Prep.
2 wideouts near side, 1 running back. That's Angelo Walker under center. Lammers turns, hands it off. Power run to the left side, and it's going to be a short gain of about 4 up to the 22.
So right there, you saw Creighton Prep, right? I call these plays look-see. Let's look and see if you made some adjustments, right? Their big running plays have came to the left side, a little bit of mid-outside zone there. Just line up with tight splits and let Mr. Walker find a crease right there. So it was a good, run in, actually a little bit of obviously not a little bit, a good defensive play as well from the Southeast Knights.
Yeah, both sides have struggled to consistently stay on schedule. They've had a couple of big plays, but in 3rd and long situations. We'll see if Creighton Prep here in this drive can stay on schedule. They did so through that first play. 2nd and 6, they toss it right side. Angelo Walker rolls over a defender, and now he's going to be taken down just after the 25-yard line at the 27. And so that's going to set up a 3rd and 2 coming up for the Creighton Prep offense.
Yeah, a little bit, like I mentioned, right? The look-see play, and then what did I say when they're going to try to run the Nate Applegate side? They're going to try to run some tosses and get some bodies in his face, but a really good job by the Southeast Knights getting more bodies there than Creighton Prep would like and stopping them for a short gain. Now, it's 3rd and short, 3rd and 1. You got to expect a big run here coming off the left side. It's not the time for Creighton Prep to play too aggressive here, trying to continue to get first downs and possibly some points.
3rd and short from their own 27-yard line. Got to get to about the 28 to keep this drive alive on 3rd and short. They turn, hand it off. Angelo Walker cuts back up the middle of the field. Nate Applegate trying to take him down, unable to do so as he just barrels his way forward. That is the big body of the 6-foot, 190-pound running back, the senior Angelo Walker, providing a first down at their own 33.
Yeah, Angelo Walker runs a lot bigger than that 6-foot, 190 pounds. He runs behind his pads, really good leverage, really good vision, really good job there of a outside zone going to a right, purposeful cut back to the left to really see if this testing the discipline of the Southeast Knights defense.
10:02 to play in the 3rd quarter, 17-10. Creighton Prep with the lead and the football. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line. 2 wideouts far side. They turn, fake the handoff, rolling out to that left side is Lammers, trying to get it to his tight end there that was cutting across the middle of the field, number 41, Vincent Constantino. 2nd time we've called his name tonight. 2nd time it's been an incompletion to bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, they tried to hit him on the seam, and then they tried to hit him with a little bit of a bootleg, tight end delay to the flat, and really good job by Mason Meta of not only playing the run play, which went away from him, but really gathering himself and putting some pressure late against Creighton Prep. 2nd
down and 10 from their own 33. Creighton Prep slowing things down. They're really trying to control the tempo here in the early stages of the second half. 9 minutes and 51 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter at 17-10 Junior Jays. They turn, hand it off to this time number 45 on the carry, Michael Novero, the fullback, all the way across midfield. A little bit of trickeration there as it looked like for a moment Lammers was going to keep it. He had an option to keep it and then pitch it to Walker, elected to hand it off to his fullback on this one. A big gain across the 50 to the Southeast 44.
Yeah, a little bit of a cross buck action there. There's a lot of old school plays here by Creighton Prep. Get you going one way, sneak the fullback going back the other. More importantly, Nick, the sideline ref or the back judge missed a false start, which would have nullified that play, but then obviously put Southeast ahead of the chain.
1st and 10 now from the 44-yard line. Under center, it's Lammers. 2 wideouts near side. Angelo Walker lined up behind Lammers. They turn, toss it left side. Here's Walker on the carry, and he goes nowhere. A great job by a quartet of Lincoln Southeast defenders. Beckham Rice was in there, as well as Nate Applegate, and a couple of others were in on the stop for the Knights defense.
Yeah, the Southeast Knights, they do a good job of holding their composure, right? You give up a kind of a trick play there, an explosive run on first down, or to get a first down. They stay disciplined and do what they're supposed to do. A really good job of the toss going left, of getting a lot of bodies there and making a good squared up tackle against a tough runner like Walker.
2nd down and 10 from the Knights 44. First possession for either side here in the second half. 8.5 to play in quarter number 3. They turn, fake, rather do hand it off left side. Walker has a hole, tries to barrel over a defender and gets a couple of extra yards by doing so across the 40-yard line to the 37.
Good job there by Brooks Gordon coming out of his safety position and making a good hard tackle against Walker. What Creighton Prep is showing you what they're trying to do is they're using second down. They're going back to their favorite play or their favorite part to attacking the favorite part of their defense, which is the left, to get back on schedule. No yard gain on first down, second down, 7 yards. Now they're right at or ahead of the schedule or ahead of the chain.
It's all reliable on second down. Now 2 running backs in the backfield, and Walker as well as the fullback at Corrigan, and we have some penalty markers on the play on this 3rd down and 3, and it looks like it'll be moving back to 3rd down and 8.
Right, and Creighton Prep is letting you know kind of what type of offense or what they feel about their offense. They always they use second down, either going back to the old reliable, like you said, or use it to get back somewhat in 3rd manageable or back on schedule, so they can have an easier go at it on 3rd down. So now, if I'm Southeast, you got them to make a mistake. Now it's 3rd and 8. You got to get off the field right now and get the ball back to this offense.
3rd down and 8 from the 42-yard line of Lincoln Southeast. 7:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. 17-10. Creighton Prep with a touchdown lead over the Knights. Single back formation. They'll turn, hand it off. Here's Carney. Carney with the carry. He gets a first down and more across the 35-yard line near the 30. And man, oh man, this Creighton Prep offense just methodical, meticulous, and picking up big chunks of yards on 3rd down.
Yeah, and I mentioned, coming out of halftime that the Southeast Knights defense has been, taking some body blows by the Creighton Prep offense, right? Leading into the second half, easy score, when they got a little bit of a sudden change there. And now you see Creighton Prep going back to that left side. It's a little bit of an inside zone. He bounces it out. He doesn't go outside the tackle. Then he gets it north and south. They're making a lot of hay over there.
This drive has taken up close to 5 minutes of game clock here as the handoff on first down goes once again to Jake Carney. Carney goes forward for about a gain of 2 up to the 29-yard line to bring up 2nd down and 8. Once again, this is a drive that started on their own 18-yard line for Creighton Prep. They currently sit at the Southeast 29-yard line, and this drive has been going for 5 minutes and 10 seconds and counting.
Yeah, Nick, if they run 2 plays, it's 6 minutes off the clock. So you got to think not only are they beating up this Southeast defense, they are taking the momentum off the sidelines of the Knights.
6:38 to play in the 3rd quarter, 17-10, the snap on first down. Toss right side. Here's Angelo Walker trying to get some space. Sheds 1 tackle and bounces off another as he navigates his way and falls down near the 25-yard line. A gain of 4 on 2nd down and 8. Makes it 3rd down and manageable yet again, 3rd and 4 for the Junior Jays offense with 6:20 to play in the 3rd.
Yeah, you always talk about, whether, coaches or offensive coordinators will stick with the run game. I think Creighton Prep does that better than anybody in the state. And you saw that right there with O'Hara, a free shot on Walker, break that tackle, break another tackle. So you go from 3rd and 8 or 2nd and 8 to 3rd and 4. Right back on schedule. 2nd down is their get right down.
Creighton Prep has consumed over half of the 3rd quarter on this drive alone. They turn, fake, or hand it off Corrigan on the, once again, like you said, to use your terminology, Jay, the crossbuck play to the tight end Corrigan on that play, or fullback, I should say. Yeah. And he gets a first down inside the 20-yard line at the 18. And the clock keeps on ticking. 1st and 10 for the Junior Jays inside the red zone.
This is a la Penn State or Michigan at Penn State where Jim Harbaugh was on timeout, right, where they ran it every play in the second half and tried to just beat up and mentally demoralize the defense. And that's what Creighton Prep is trying to do. They got a 7-point lead. I think they decided to take this approach, Nick, because why? Southeast messed up the last possession in the second half. And so now we're going to see if Southeast will be able to hold them to another field goal and kind of put themselves in a position to come back like the first half.
Quick pass left side. It was a little bit behind the intended receiver there. There's Sheldon Galladay for the first time tonight. He was able to kind of contort his body and reach behind as that pass from Lammers was behind the route, and he was able to haul it in for a short gain of 3 on the play. 2nd down and 7 from the 15-yard line. And how about this? There is under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and Gavin Sim and the Lincoln Southeast offense has yet to see the field in this 3rd quarter. This is a drive by Creighton Prep that's eaten up 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
And counting. And it's almost like the offense of the Southeast Knights got to start warming up again. It's like 2 halftimes. You can really, really take the air out of the sails of a team that's watching from the sideline.
The Sales and the Stadium. This pass left side. It's hauled in past the first down marker. Another first down for Creighton Prep as they have been methodical as ever on this drive to start the third quarter. It's 1st and goal from the 8-yard line coming up. And that is going to bring up, as I mentioned, 1st and goal from the 8.
You know, Nick, you don't throw that quick slant right there unless you think you can run the ball and get the first down on 3rd and 4th down. And so they're able to kind of they ran the ball all the way down here, essentially.
Yeah.
And then now they get in the red zone. They're doing what? Controlled passing game. Got it to Galladay and tried to get it to his partner in crime the next play. Now they're 1st and goal from the 7. Tight formation. It's coming straight ahead.
Direct snap. Here's Angelo Walker. Walker left side trying to find the goal line. He'll be stopped a few yards shy at the 2.5-yard line or so to bring up 2nd down and goal. And Jay, I mean, we are under 8 minutes,
Yep.
or excuse me, 8-minute drive, 8+ minute drive on this one. We're under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Yeah, you talk about demoralizing a team mentally, trying to beat down an opponent, not let alone physically. This is what Creighton Prep has been doing, right? And it came out a little bit of a wildcat there with Walker. So they're letting you know exactly what they're doing. They're at the 2-yard line. And one thing you notice, Nick, is every time that Creighton Prep is running it, they're falling forward.
They're doing it again. Same formation. Direct snap once again. Walker tries to bounce left side. Touchdown. Creighton Prep on a drive that took 8 minutes and 43 seconds off the clock. There's 3:17 remaining in the third quarter, and the Junior Jays extend it to a 23-10 advantage.
Yeah, good job there of really running the ball from your 18-yard line all the way down to the opponent's 20. Then you get inside there, you throw the ball through two kind of real easy passes, a 3-yard gain and a 10-yard gain. Then you run it in with your Wildcat formation. So their point of emphasis are coming out of halftime, because I feel like they got a bonus when Southeast kind of flubbed the last possession, is that, you know what, we're going to really try to put the dagger in the heart. We didn't do it at the beginning of the game. Yeah. We're going to make sure we're going to do it at the beginning of the second half.
3:17 to play in the third quarter. It's 24-10. Junior Jays will step aside for 30 seconds and come back here on 93.7 The Ticket. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. 3:17 to play in the third quarter. And for the first time in this second half, we're finally going to be able to see Lincoln Southeast offense on the field after Creighton Prep. I told you during the break there, Jay, it wasn't that Creighton Prep is turning conservative with a lead. They just turned strategic and just consistent and shoved it down Lincoln Southeast's throat play after play after play, and they took 8 minutes and change off the clock while doing so.
Yeah, it was one of those drives you remember when Michigan State drove it against Iowa in the Big Ten championship and essentially bled the whole fourth quarter. And so right now, if I'm Gavin Sim and company, right, we got 15 minutes left, right? We need 2 scores. We're down 14. You're not going to get 14 on one drive. Let's put a good drive together, get some points on the board. I think if Southeast is able to score in a timely fashion, right, I think this puts more pressure back on Creighton Prep, because Creighton Prep has to play almost perfect on offense. They can't be behind the chains. They got to get a lot of forward lean on offense. That's why they really stuck to the running game. That offensive line is probably the MVP right now.
3:17 to play after a short kickoff. 23-yard line is the starting field position for Lincoln Southeast. Play action pass. The pass is hauled in by Applegate across the 35-yard line. A good start to the drive, as that's a 19-yard gain.
You know, when you have a junior quarterback like this with Gavin Sim with a live arm and you don't want him to think too much, I'm trying to go a little bit hurry up. You know, I think he might operate a little bit better than that way. Not abandon the run game, but I think you can get in and out of the huddle a little bit. I think you have a size, speed, quickness advantage out there on the outside with their receivers and skill guys.
1st and 10, shotgun set. They turn, hand it off. This time it's Bukowski. Bukowski weaving his way through traffic, still on his feet across the 45-yard line. And it's a gain of 11 up to the Knights' 47. and 2 plays, 2 first downs
Yep.
for Lincoln Southeast.
Yeah, I like to get in and out of the huddle. I think the less you think and the more that you can kind of uptick this pace here, not in a hurry, right? Play fast, not in a hurry. I think it bodes well or bodes better for Gavin Sim. I think it allows them to dictate the coverage. I think the worst thing you can do against Creighton Prep is let them get rested and that let them sit there and see what you're going to do offensively. So now we're at 14 seconds left. This is what I'm talking about, right? The first 2 plays, I charted it, Nick. They snapped the ball with 24 seconds left.
Yeah.
They let the clock run down to 14 seconds left. That's the pace that they need to play at against a big physical defense like this from Creighton Prep.
With 2:24 to go in the third quarter, Ryan Gatula has to call a timeout. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep it here as we are in the final stages of quarter number 3. Jay, this is an interesting thing. We've seen a little bit of trouble from Lincoln Southeast and the communication between Gatula and the quarterback, Gavin Sim, just being able to communicate the play and get it on the field. Now, obviously, they don't have helmet communication here in high school football, but one thing I will say, it's interesting. Gatula does not wear a headset on the sideline, and so that allows him then to shout the play. Ryan Gatula, somewhat of a more quieter guy when you just talk to him face-to-face, but here, a little bit of struggle here in the early stages. They just had to burn what could be a very valuable timeout here in the second half, still with 2 minutes and change on the clock in the third quarter.
Yeah, we saw this in the first half, right? And I don't know whether they were trying to set up I wouldn't call it a trick play or a play that's not, normally in their playbook. But this is what you needed, which is probably something that's been going on this week in practice. So you really need to tighten this up and maybe simplify things, because I think the less that they try to do, the better they are offensively.
2:24 to go in the third quarter. 24-10. Creighton Prep out in front of Lincoln Southeast. Shotgun set. They turn and back to pass it. Sim getting pressured, rolls out to his left, and a barrage of Creighton Prep defenders go forward. I'm wondering if this is going to be potential intentional grounding. No, they're going to allow him to say that Caden Ward was in the vicinity, and so that'll bring up 2nd down and 10 from their own 47.
Nick, I think sometimes when you burn timeouts or you try to, okay, I ran 2 positive plays, let me have I call it a throwaway play. Sometimes you can stop momentum. You could even run a quick curl route just to keep the rhythm. I think that when you play at a higher, like when you look at Creighton Prep play, they're playing at their place, slow, methodical, right, up the pace. Then you get not only the pace that you want, you dictate the pace of the game.
Sim getting pressured, and he's going to go down. He threw it away. It's incomplete. I'm wondering, I think for the second consecutive play, they could certainly get Gavin Sim for intentional grounding. Sim is still laying down on the turf. He looks like he's able to get up now. We'll see if the officials decide to throw this penalty flag. Tim Yonk is all the way out by the numbers with his palms facing the sky, wondering how they haven't called it already. And it looks like Sim might be struggling with some cramps.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have an official timeout on the field. Officials are still talking about whether or not they want to throw a penalty flag for Gavin Sim. There was no shot that was going to – there was no shot
that was getting to Caden
that was going to get to anybody in the vicinity.
Yeah, Caden Ward was 20 yards down the field. I think right now
Creighton Prep has a case for it.
They do. But if they're talking this long, you don't know what you forgot by now.
It looks like they're going to have this conversation, still talking about it. The white cap will be the one to throw the penalty if he does decide to throw it.
But the fact that it hit a Creighton Prep defender, does that nullify that?
It does appear that they are going to get him for intentional grounding, because it was thrown into the turf, and so there was not even a chance. The part of the body that it hit of Creighton Prep was the left leg of the defensive lineman.
Yeah,
and so it's a loss of down. It's going to be
the fact that he was behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
right. Yes.
It's going to be 3rd down and a literal mile. It'll be 3rd down, and I can't do the math. We're going to rely on the scoreboard here in just a second, but it's going to be the ball will be placed, I believe, at the 33-yard line, and so they're going to need to get all the way to the Creighton Prep 43 just to keep this drive alive here on 3rd down. It's detrimental because on intentional grounding penalties, Sim is up, but he's going to have to exit the field for a play.
Yeah, for a play, yeah. I don't know if it was cramps or he, took a little bit of a shot to his upper extremity. But right now you really, if I'm Creighton Prep, I have Southeast right where I want. We got a backup quarterback coming in late in the game. Essentially a drive that was stymied by a timeout. There's not much you could do from, a play calling standpoint if you're Ryan Gatula, except for run essentially a throwaway play and get your defense back on there after you punt.
The signal caller now, Brooks Gordon. He takes the snap, getting pressured. Watch out, and he's going to be taken down from behind once again. Creighton Prep on that defensive line. Jake Brock in on the stop. That's his second sack of the day. And after an intentional grounding penalty, after really the timeout on second down, no yards gained for Lincoln Southeast. And with 1:49 to go in the third quarter, Lincoln Southeast has to punt it away to the Creighton Prep Junior Jays.
Yeah, right there, one thing is obviously Creighton Prep was just cranking up the pressure. That pass rush is starting to really pay dividends, right? And the 55 is having a huge night tonight. But also, missed calls are huge, right? If you want to get the momentum back, you missed a face mask there at the point of attack. But now Creighton Prep is on the attack again. We'll see what happens.
Reverse on the punt return. Here is Nico Kochmick with it. He has a lot of running room up the far side. Watch out inside the 30, inside the 15. Touchdown, Creighton Prep, as the punt goes to the house for the Junior Jays, and they have broke this one open in half number 2. They now lead it 30-10.
Yeah, if special teams must have been a point of emphasis for Coach Jonk and the Junior Jays, right? When you think about the kind of the Archie Bradley rollout rugby style punt, right? Pin them down, score. Now this is the second time they went with a little bit of reverse on a punt return. This time it busted it wide open. So they must have saw something the way that Southeast covered the coverage, or the defenders didn't stay in their coverage lane. That's a big play right there. It was 17-10 at halftime. Essentially one drive, a methodical drive, and then one defensive stop. Now you're up 14 points. Southeast right now is in survival mode.
It is now 31-10. Creighton Prep has blown this one to a 3-touchdown lead. It's with 1:15 to go in the third quarter. Junior Jays lead by 21. Southeast gets the ball right back when we return in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman alongside Rudy back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street, downtown Lincoln. All right, Jay, so we've seen now the Junior Jays as they're getting ready to kick things back to Lincoln Southeast after scoring a punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
The kickoff is going to be a short one. It's a squibber. It's going to be almost recovered by Creighton Prep. Did they get it? Did they recover the onside kick? There's a penalty marker on the play. They might have said that it went out of bounds first.
Yeah, because you didn't have
but
control over it.
Just a little bit of a lackadaisical look to start the second half for Lincoln Southeast.
I just said it before we went to the break. It was special teams was a point of emphasis for Coach Jonk in the Creighton Prep Blue Jays. They saw something overall in all 4 phases of special teams that they felt like they could take advantage of. They feel like, okay, well, they're not going to really rush the field goal rush, and we can make a 46-yard field goal. We can run different types of returns on the punt return. Then we can essentially always kick it to the up back or squib kick it because they don't have a plan as far as Southeast goes, and they're able to really keep the momentum but keep Southeast either pinned where they want, but more importantly, dictate the pace of this game. If Creighton Prep could say, okay, I want this game to go exactly like we want on the road in a packed house here, what do? We get off the bus, we start throwing haymakers, right? We start going, throwing left and right, right? And see if we can knock them out early. We withstand their barrage coming back, and now we have total control led by our run game and our offensive line. The Creighton Prep Blue Jays are pretty happy right now.
How about this, Jay? So on that kickoff, they tried the little bit of an unconventional look to an onside kick. They actually kicked it shorter than what they would, just on a little bit of a shorter kick, and it kind of checked up. Well, the Junior Jays player actually stepped out of bounds before he recovered it. It would have been an okay onside kick. The ball stayed in bounds, hugged that far sideline, but instead it was called an illegal touching flag or penalty on Creighton Prep. So now we're going to re-kick it. It's a 15-yard penalty. It's going to be kicked now from the 25-yard line of the Creighton Prep Junior Jays. And so Lincoln Southeast into the wind, they're going to kick this ball. You should get this ball near the 40-yard line.
Yeah, this might be the momentum change that you might need. And so if you got to obviously check on the status of Gavin Sim, and you got to get this offense going. They got to get that rhythm going. This is not time to huddle and then come out and kind of lackadaisical out of the huddle and burn precious seconds off the clock. You got to get going, and you got to understand what you're doing first, second, and third down and try to get some points on the board.
1:11 to go in the third quarter. It's 31-10.
You know, Nick, when I was thinking about this, if you could write down all the things you want going on the road, right? Defensive touchdown, check. Win the line of scrimmage, check. Big plays, check. Special teams touchdown, check. There's not much that you haven't done as a team in Creighton Prep when you go on the road to really just take control of this game from start to finish so far.
This was a ball game 17-10 in favor of Creighton Prep at the half. They've outscored the Knights 14-0 here in the third quarter with about 1:15 to go in the third quarter. They'll kick this one off. It's a line drive kick heading towards that near sideline, and it's going to bounce out of bounds. So now, to make matters worse, Creighton Prep will provide really nice field position to start this drive for Lincoln Southeast. But what I was going to say is you go on an 8.5-minute drive, and not only does it take the wind out of the sails of Lincoln Southeast, it takes all the energy out of the stadium.
Yeah, it's been silent, and the only student section is standing up, and they're trying to support their team. The parents and family and whoever's here to support outside of the student section has been sitting down for almost 30 minutes. And so if anything gets going, it's like, okay, what's going to happen next? And so this offense is coming back out here. It's good to see Gavin Sim, back healthy and on the mend. You have the ball now at the 50-yard line, Nick. Okay, it is 4-down territory. So this is not time to play. You got to look. We got 1 minute and 15 seconds left. How many possessions can we get? You're going to have to score 3 times. You want to have a 4th possession, so you're going to play good defense, but more importantly, better offense.
They'll turn, hand it off. Bukowski goes nowhere. Corrigan in the backfield before you could even blink. It's a loss of 2 on the play. The possession started at the 50-yard line. Now Lincoln Southeast will have it 2nd and 12 at their own 48.
Little backside B-gap run blitz there, right? Creighton Prep feels like they've had a good beat on this Lincoln Southeast play calling and when they're going to run and pass. A backside B-gap blitz there by Corrigan. Another tackle for number 3. When you're talking about Angelo Walker and Colin Corrigan, they've essentially dominated the game, along with the offense and defensive line.
This is a Creighton Prep team came into this one with 6.5 sacks through 2 games. A little bit of a screen on the way back. This is caught by Caden Ward, tracked down from behind by Jake Brock, or rather, that's number 56, not 55. That's Gavin Trapp on the stop. Gets a gain of about 6, maybe 5, up to the 49-yard line of Creighton Prep. It's going to be 3rd down and 9. We'll see. Lincoln Southeast, these are the energetic plays. You got 15 seconds on the game clock. Do you snap it before the third quarter expires?
That was a good play there by Mr. Trapp coming out of what's called the stack, right? You rush the passer. You see it's a screen pass. Good tackle from behind on Caden Ward.
3 seconds to play in the third quarter, and they are going to allow the clock to expire. That is the end of the third quarter. Your score after 3 quarters of play, this third quarter dominated by the Creighton Prep Junior Jays. They outscore the Knights 14-0. They held onto the ball for practically the 3/4 of the third quarter as well. They lead at 31-10 going in to the final stanza of play. Nick Sander, Jay Foreman with you on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
before we could even get back from break, on the snap on 3rd and 9, Gavin Sim drops back, and guess who? He was reintroduced to number 3, Colin Corrigan on the sack, and Lincoln Southeast with 11 and a half minutes to go. They have to give the ball right back to an offense that took over 8 minutes off the clock on one drive back in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was too quick of a play, and dropping back, just a straight drop back, doesn't bode well against this well-coached and really good pass rushing defensive line. Obviously, when you think of big number 55 and obviously his partner in crime, number 56, Trap, they've been really paying dividends. I'm talking about 55. Aaron Shaw is Jack Brock and Aaron Shaw, and then obviously Gavin Trapp. 51, 55, and 56 have dominated inside. Unfortunately for Southeast, they are definitely not happy with what they're doing on offensively, but more importantly, you have to address this. What I mean by address it, Nick, right? You got to try to make adjustments on the fly because you got to get some rhythm going into next week. Something that is off between the communication.
Yeah.
And then obviously that causes even more anxiety in big games. You know that. I mean, it's no different than going to bat and you haven't went to batting practice. You got to really, rep this type of stuff.
Lincoln Southeast will travel for their next 2 games. They'll travel to Norfolk next Friday, but then they have a incredibly difficult test the following week against Millard South, the number 1 team in the state. 11:08 to go. Creighton Prep takes over, and we have a penalty flag and a delay of game about to be called against the Junior Jays. So a little bit of a mental lapse there for the Junior Jays offense. They'll back it up 1st and 15, and the ball will be placed at their own 26-yard line. For the Junior Jays, if the score holds, they will improve to 3-0 in about 11 minutes of game time. They will face off against Millard West next Friday night.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's a obviously a metro type of battle, and obviously the Junior Jays feel really good about where they're at as a football program. Took their lumps the last couple of years. The offensive line has obviously kind of matured, and obviously the way they play, they feel very comfortable playing at this pace right now.
Shotgun snap, they turn, hand it off. Why not? Here comes Carney across the 30, across the 35-yard line, and despite the 5-yard penalty backing him up a couple of yards, you get a gain of 11 on 1st down and 15 to make it 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, Southeast was expecting pass, and obviously Creighton Prep said, not so fast, my friend. A 16-yard or a 10-yard run there on 1st and 15. And more importantly, Nick, when I'm looking at this, right, where I'm looking at their running backs, whether it's Walker or Carney or whoever else is running the ball, they are getting to the second level of the defense very clean, and they're making everybody from the safety or nickel positions come up and make tackles against 2 big physical running backs coming downhill at you. So they've worn this defense down. And this is a byproduct of the body blows that I mentioned in the first quarter and the second quarter.
Javion Fuller laying down on the turf for Lincoln Southeast with 10:37 to go in the fourth quarter. It's 31-10. Creighton Prep on top of the Lincoln Southeast Knights. We'll go ahead and keep it here as they tune to take care of Javion Fuller, who's laying down on the turf and near midfield. Next week, we are in full transparency up in the air about high school football game. We're working out some details, trying to see if we can be stationed at Auburn High School for Auburn versus Ashland Greenwood. We're going to be doing a remote broadcast from 3 to 6 p.m. out in Nebraska City. And because it's out in Nebraska City, won't be able to make our way back to Lincoln in time for a 7 p.m. kickoff. So figured why not try to stop by some Class C action between Ashland Greenwood and Auburn. And so that is tentatively our scheduled game for next Friday. Still working through some of the technical details, plugins, internet, stuff like that for our friends out at Auburn High School. So we'll keep you posted on next week's schedule as far as we know stuff. So 10.5 minutes to play. The clock starts to run. Shotgun set. They do not hand it off here, but instead trying to develop a screenplay. Carney has kind of lost in the large group of linemen and black and white jerseys there near the line of scrimmage. The pass falls incomplete. Surprised to see a pass play.
Yeah. Tried to catch Southeast, sleep at the wheel. They ran a little bit of a throwback screen there. Had plenty of linemen there, but a good job there by Caden Ward sniffing that play out. And now you run those plays, Nick, right? Mm-hmm. Generally, that's been their get back down, right? The second down. But they feel so comfortable with the run game. I would be more surprised if they don't run it on third down here.
So single back formation, they turn, hand it off. Here's Carney on 3rd and 5. He bursts outside, has a lot of running room across midfield, the first down and more inside the Knight territory, out of bounds at the 39-yard line, and Creighton Prep moves the chains. They set up shop now once again, 1st and 10 at the Southeast 39.
Yeah, the reluctancy to pass it in the first half is mainly based on it because you're trying to, continue body blow, and pay dividends or lay dividends for the later on in the game. And you're seeing that right now, right? Just a 3rd down, 3rd and 5, run down, or 3rd and 5 play. Could be run or pass, but it's just a simple open side zone play that goes for 20 yards by their backup running back. Lets you know that the physicality of the game is really officially worn out this Southeast defense.
1st and 10 now from the Knights' 39-yard line. They snap it with 1 on the play clock. They turn. Here's Angelo Walker as he barrels his way, somehow gets free, and then runs over a defensive back in the secondary near that first down marker, falls forward for a gain of 12 yards to the 27-yard line of Lincoln Southeast. Jay, we knew coming into this one what Creighton Prep would want to do. Angelo Walker comes in on the year, 41 carries for just shy of 300 yards and a couple scores. Their backup running back, Jake Carney, has almost 20 carries on the season coming into tonight's game for 80 yards and a couple of scores. You knew the ground game was going to be a big part of Creighton Prep, and it sure has been.
Yeah, they developed this offensive line for a couple of years. They developed them running backs right with it. They are running downhill. Now you come back with the old school fullback, a la Joel Makovica. He's wearing number 5 like Joel Makovica, trying to catch his defense asleep. And so Southeast right now has not been able to make any adjustments to the simple running attack of Creighton Prep. Now, I think Creighton Prep is doing a really good job of blocking it. You can't, obviously they're listening to us on the radio, but from up here, the splits are really, really tight. Yeah. What does that do? Splits are tight. That means normally if the offensive linemen are a foot apart, they're less than that. What that does is cause a little bit of confusion and anxiety and a little bit of hesitation for the defensive line and the linebackers, and it's really paying off for Creighton Prep.
2nd down and 10, a little bit of a reverse. How about a flea flicker trying to take a shot to the end zone, and it's well out of reach for the intended receiver, Corrigan, as they handed it off first to Walker, who pitched it to Galladay, who tossed it back near the 35-yard line to Lammers, who tried to throw it down the far sideline to Corrigan. It was out of reach for an incomplete pass to bring up 3rd down and 8 from the 25-yard line with 8 minutes and 59 seconds to go in this ball game. Creighton Prep leads it 31-10.
Yeah, Creighton Prep is running essentially their version of the Nebraska offense back when I played. Run left, run right.
Does this give you nightmares seeing it?
No, we stopped our offense all the time.
In practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know what? And then they'll take a shot, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of 2 delay flat. You saw a fullback trap, and now they tried to go deep with a 9 route.
Handed off on 3rd and 8, and Walker stopped right at the line of scrimmage. A nice job once again, this time by Shy Briggs Booker as he's in there. Got the stop at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to bring up 4th down and 8 from the 25-yard line. And here comes Rory McGarry on to attempt what will be a 42-yard field goal. 42-yard field goal for the left-handed kicker, or left-footed kicker, rather, with 8.5 minutes to go in the ball game, and the Junior Jays leading by 21 points. The snap, good hold is down. The kick doesn't have enough leg with the wind,
doink.
And how about a doink on the right upright? And McGarry misses his 2nd field goal tonight as it's just off to the right side, and it hit the upright for the Junior Jays.
Yeah, had enough leg, and I wonder if the wind behind him, made him kind of, hook it a little bit from his left foot. But now you look, there's a little bit of glimmer of hope here for the Southeast Knights. But when you look at the body language on there, like Mason Meta, right? He was essentially the dominant force last week on offense and defense. Hasn't had anything go his way offensively. Hadn't been much of a factor defensively. It's not by lack of effort. It's because they've really keyed in on him. So you had a really good game so far with Nate Applegate, but the offense as a whole has been inconsistent. So they got to really get some execution going here.
They'll turn, play action, looking, downfield, the pass deflected. Watch out, that's up. Oh, should have been intercepted by Jordan Udofia, but instead it falls and hits the turf. And so it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10, another one that Gavin Sim got away with because his wide receiver unable to haul in the fireball.
You're late. If you're late across the middle and you're throwing essentially a missile and you don't catch it, it's definitely going to be a tip ball, and it was tip drill. I'm sure Coach John over there is going to make his defense do some ball skills or ball drills because they could have had 2 or 3 more interceptions. So this is a learning process for Gavin Sim, right? Has all the tools you need. Can run on or throw on the run, can run a little bit, has a good live arm. Now he's got to get the nuances of playing the game or playing the quarterback position in big games now, right? And then everybody else around them needs to play a little bit better. They need to block a little bit better up front offensively. They need to get a better rhythm as far as, or get, on the same page as far as calling, like the play calls and execution. And then the receivers need to understand, okay, maybe I need to sit down in the zone. I can't run through the window because I go right through another defender. This is all a learning process for these Southeast Knights.
7:45 to go. It's 3rd down and 3 after the 7-yard gain by Brecken Bokowski on 2nd down. Under center, the snap to Sim. He turns, hands it off.
Ooh.
Bokowski, nowhere to go. It was blown up by number 55 initially, Jake Brock, but in on the actual tackle was, I believe that was number 56, Gavin Trapp, as well as number 51, Aaron Shaw. So 3 names right there on that defensive line for Creighton Prep that we've called time and time again.
Hey.
Now it's going to bring up 4th down and medium from their own 24-yard line. Lincoln Southeast has to punt.
Yeah, them 4 horsemen up front are just running the news up there. And they're running some it's called a gut blitz, when essentially you're sending linebackers and safeties up the A-gaps. The reason why they've been so successful, Nick, is because they have a good beat on the cadence of Aaron Sim and the Southeast offense. What I mean is everything is on first sound or when you hike it on or hut it on one. You got to change that up to keep the defense on his toes.
Here's Jake Carney on the return. He has a little bit of running room up the far sideline before he's taken out by the coverage man, Brooks Gordon, at the 39-yard line of Lincoln Southeast. It's about a 15-yard punt. Once again, that's the 2nd punt tonight that Lincoln Southeast has had that's gone less than 20 yards in terms of net yards. And so not a whole lot of reversing the field going on tonight in favor of the Knights. There's an injured Knight down on the play.
A little crackback block there. It's when he reversed field right there, and the refs is throwing the flag back there. Boy, that's a dangerous play. I know that everybody tries to be aggressive and wants to get hype about a blindsided block, but that's obviously that's not something that you can do in football. And Nate Applegate's a tough cookie. Tried to reverse field and it was late. And he got hit upstairs, shook it off a little bit. Probably got a little bit of a stinger there. He'll be back. But that's definitely a 15-yard penalty.
It's 31-10, as Jay mentioned. 6:42 to go in the ball game. Junior Jay's lead by 21. Multiple possession lead over the Lincoln Southeast Knights. After the 15-yard penalty, they will set up shop 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. And remember, to start the second half, Creighton Prep open things up in the 3rd quarter with an 8+ minute drive. And so they have the tools and the capabilities here to basically milk this clock, but do it in an effective way. That's what I was telling Jay, is that they were doing it, but they were getting 6-7 yards per carry consistently on that drive, staying ahead or at least on schedule, and just milking the clock, taking the play clock
down. The nuances of this game is what I'm talking about. Creighton Prep right now, they're getting under 10 or close to 10 when they're snapping the ball, whereas Southeast is not doing that, and they're losing a lot of their advantage.
And right where we left off, Angelo Walker with a big gain up across midfield. It's going to be a 21-yard gain on 1st down. Angelo Walker gets into Southeast Knights territory. And so he basically just said, what unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on that punt return? He negated that 15 yards, got 6 extra just for good measure, and it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Knights 49.
Well, you should have known that they're going to go right back to the running attack when Nate Applegate, obviously, a little bit compromised. And so they ran right where they run, Nick, right to the left, to the open side. I think the sneaky adjustment of these coaching staffs is obviously something really cool to see, is because they said, we're running to the slot, what a lot of teams don't like to do.
Yeah, first carry of the game for Caleb Goalie. He makes one guy miss, has an opening. Watch out, he's quick inside the 40 and inside the 36-yard line. Tackle down at the Knights 35. A gain of 14 on Caleb Goalie's, the senior running back, his first carry of the game. It goes for 14 yards, and it's another Creighton Prep Junior Jay's first down.
Yeah, Caleb Goalie is waiting his chance. The defense is worn down. He came at one defender in his face in the backfield, gave him the dead leg, turned on the Jets, and again, another 10-yard run. Nick, when you look at the end of this game and you look at the rushing yards, or we'll see next week, how many of them came after the starting in the 3rd quarter? It is straight domination right now.
Here's Goalie again. He gets taken down just shy of the 30. And so a gain of 5 on first down. The Creighton Prep Junior Jays also have a couple of their backups in. And in addition to goalie, they have backup quarterback, the 6'2", 175-pound sophomore Ben Leslie into the game under center. They also will bring in now number 30. This is David Heine, the fullback, the sophomore, into the game ahead of this 2nd down and 5 snap with 5:36 to play in the 4th.
Yeah, Creighton Prep has full control of this game, so you're able to get some younger guys some snaps, especially, you're looking in the future now here with Ben Leslie, who's going to be the quarterback, 6'2", 175 pounds. Let's see what he's going to do. I don't envision many passing plays from Creighton Prep. But what you do when you put backups in, you want to get them used to playing against starters and get them some free reps here on a road game, which you didn't expect, right? And so for Creighton Prep, you feel like you got the game under control, and then Coach Yount, you're able to get some backup players and build your depth here as well.
Loss of 1 on 2nd down and 5 makes it 3rd and 6 for Creighton Prep as they brought in Beckett Klemke. They turn, toss it right side, fumble on the play, and it's going to be retrieved by Creighton Prep all the way back at the 41-yard line. And so it's a loss of 10 on the fumble. He tried just a simple toss play out to the right side, and it went backwards. And so now Creighton Prep will punt it and try to pin Lincoln Southeast deep in their own end with 4.5 to play, down 31-10.
Let me ask you this, Nick. You see the backup quarterback in here for Creighton Prep, and now some backup players at different positions as well. Ryan Gatula is looking at the scoreboard. Then more importantly, you got to look back at your team, and kind of what the outcome could be, or what moving towards. Do you put your backup quarterback in, or do you continue to play Gavin Sim in company, because you got to get some rhythm? You haven't scored any points, since the middle of the second quarter, and you haven't really even been able to get a first down. Haven't been able to get any confidence or any rhythm. This is a good time to get some good good mojo going and see what you can build on in the future.
Yeah, the punt goes in well into the end zone by Creighton Prep, so it's going to be a touchback. 1st and 10 coming up at the 20-yard line. And I mean, to your point, Jay, 3:59 to play in the 4th quarter. The writing slowly starting to become written on the wall here for Lincoln Southeast. Well, there you go. They're going to keep their starters out there. And I think if you're Ryan Gatula, you're going into 2 critical games. You're coming to this one 2-0. You're going to more than likely fall to 2-1 in just a few minutes of game time. You got a necessary one that you need to win next week against Norfolk, and then the biggest test of them all against Millard South on the road in 2 weeks' time. As Sim rolls out to the right side, looking, and he'll just have to throw this one. His best Joe Bowserman style from Ohio State back in 2011 when Luke Fickle brought his squad here, and he throws it into the stands, incomplete on first down.
Yeah, I think when you look at this is that when you're playing against a zone team, you have to run some crossing routes. You got to run some meshing routes. You got to really, how many times have we seen Southeast motion or shift, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, you have to get this defense moving, whether it's side to side or back and forth, to keep them off balance. And you got to play with a little bit faster pace, but you got to execute. The communications have been lacking all game long, which has really stymied any progress that Southeast has had in a positive manner.
Hand off to Bukowski on 2nd down. He gets taken down after a nice gain of 7 by number 73. Brogan Keating was in on the stop for the Creighton Prep Junior Jays. 3rd down and 3 coming up with 3.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you're thinking, we need some first downs. We need some positive mojo. I don't know if you go for it if it happens to be 4th down, but we don't think about 4th down until we complete 3rd down. So this is right now is a building process right here for Coach Gatula in the Southeast Knights.
Sem looking left side, tries to get into his receiver, Zay Bolin. He was able to snag it with his right hand. Nice,
the first down.
Yeah, nice grab by Zay Bolin. It's a yard shy of the first down line to gain at their own 29-yard line, and it looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field with 3:02 to play.
Yeah, might as well, because that if Creighton Prep gets the ball back, they're either going to kneel on it or just run it a few times, and so you need more reps, right? Because in the second half, starting in the 3rd quarter, Creighton Prep has kept the ball for 8 minutes and 43 seconds. That essentially won the game right there. Yeah. You took all the energy out of that Southeast team, let alone this crowd that was here to see an upset.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 38 seconds to go. They snap it on 4th and 1. They hand it off. Bukowski trying to get his way forward, and the far sideline officials say he's short. We're going to see what the official spot is. And if he's not at that 30-yard line, it's going to be short. Wow, he's going to be a whole yard shy of the first down marker. Creighton Prep has just put the icing on the cake on this one. They force a turnover on downs. Ryan Gatula asking for an explanation there.
He does not like that spot, and I'm in full agreement with Coach Gatula there. That looked like that's not a home field advantage. That is a home field disadvantage. That spot right there looked like I'm ready to hit this road and beat this traffic. But now you got to throw your defense out there and you got to finish. And this is a learning process. Look, Nick, when you play against good teams, sometimes you're going to get beat, and there's plenty to teach from for Coach Gatula. There's plenty to learn from all these Southeast Knights. And I always say this, Nick, when you play against really good teams and you look at the scoreboard, I guarantee they'll look at this tape and be like, we didn't play that bad. We just played bad in certain spots and primarily
unable to get off the field.
Well, it's not any of that. It's that the situational football at the end of the second quarter, which allowed them to really start the second half with essentially 2 possessions. Yeah. You got the possession at the end of the half, which you kneel down, but you got all the momentum. That's the other possession. And then you just said, you know what? We're going to try to put the dagger in the heart in the third quarter. 8 minutes and 47 seconds later, game was over. We're just here going through the motions.
Will Billings on the first down carry for the Junior Jays gets 4 yards up to the 25-yard line. It makes it 2nd down and 6 from that said 25-yard line. 2:02 to play in the fourth quarter, 31-10. Creighton Prep with the lead. They turn, handed off Billings again as he gets sandwiched by a couple of Southeast Knight defenders. He might have ran into his own offensive lineman as well. That's number 67, Hudson Hickenlively, who might not officially get credited for the tackle, but Southeast certainly will take it.
Hickenlively is getting lively in his first action. One thing that you're seeing here, right, is that you're seeing a lot of the JV players getting some varsity minutes, and so this is a bonus trip here for the Creighton Prep Blue Jays.
3rd down and 4 from the 23-yard line. They turn, handed off, and with it is number 6, Beckett Klemke. He'll be shy of the first down marker. Got a gain of 1 on 3rd down and 4 to make it 4th down and 3. And it looks like Creighton Prep, with their backups in, Lincoln Southeast has their reserves in as well. They're going to keep the offense on the field and go for it. They're going to call in number 34. That is Caleb Goley, who had a nice 14-yard carry earlier in the ball game. With 60 seconds on the game clock, they're going to go for it on 4th and 3.
You know, Nick, one thing that's you have to worry about, Southeast got some starters in there, is that these young guys come in with full of energy. They're trying to finish every block.
Here's
try to pancake.
4th and 3. They hand it off to Goley. He bounces out left side, trying to get away from the defender, but Applegate says no, and it's going to be another turnover on downs, giving the ball back to the Lincoln Southeast Knights with 43 seconds to play. It's 31-10. Creighton Prep out in front of Lincoln Southeast. This was a game that was a 17-10 ball game at the half. Creighton Prep comes out. They score after an 8+ minute drive to start the third quarter. They score thanks to a touchdown from Angelo Walker. And then after a punt return for a touchdown, extended their lead to 31-10. It's been a scoreless fourth quarter, but this second half has been dominated by the Creighton Prep Junior Jays. Single back formation. They turn, hand it off here to the tight end, and he goes nowhere. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 coming up if they elect to call another play. Well, they're going to have to, because the play clock and game clock are actually synced up perfectly. And so they might snap it one more time. We'll see what Ryan Gatula wants to do. No urgency coming from the Lincoln Southeast offense, down 31-10. Lincoln Southeast will fall to 2-1 on the campaign, while Creighton Prep improves and stays undefeated. They're going to be 3-0. Under center, Sim turns, hands it off. Here is Bokowski, and he barrels his way forward for a short gain, and that will do it. The Creighton Prep Junior Jays come in, dominate the second half, and they outscore the Knights 14-0 in the second half of action to win this one 31-10. We'll step aside, come back in just about 60 seconds, and talk things over in the post-game show from Seacrest Field on 93.7 The Ticket.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in Seacrest Field. Nick Sainert alongside Jay Foreman here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. The final score in this one, the Creighton Prep Junior Jays 31, the Lincoln Southeast Knights 10. And it was a second half that was dominated by the Junior Jays, by the visitors on the scoreboard. They took a 17-10 lead into the locker room, and then just a dominating and exhausting drive for the Junior Jays and for the Knights defense to start the third quarter. A drive that took up over 8.5 minutes of game clock to start the second half resulted in a Junior Jays touchdown. They forced a 3-and-out from the Knights, and then on that punt return, they ran a reverse, and Nico Kokmik was able to take the return to the house to score another touchdown, extend the lead to 31-10, and that is how we were final. The score 31-10 in favor of the Junior Jays. When you look at, let's first start for the Lincoln Southeast Knights, Jay. You come in, you allow a pick six. That's how Creighton Prep got their first points in this one, off of an interception that was thrown by Gavin Sim. You allow a pick six, but then your defense continues to get stop after stop after stop. Offense just couldn't get much rhythm going throughout the entire game.
No, I mean, and when you look at it, I mean, obviously it's a 21-point game, but, Nick, if you say, okay, look, you can't go back and change it, but say, listen, if we just take away the pick six and the punt return for a touchdown, it's a one-score game. And then I will say, you know what? If I'm Coach Catula, this is actually on us. The communication issues, the lack of rhythm on offense, we're going to fix that. But one thing once we fix that, you guys got to be willing to do what we ask you to do. You guys got to be willing to listen to the details during practice. You guys got to be willing to come out here and compete at the highest level. And if we get to play this team again, then the outcome will be a lot different. They can learn a lot from this game. And yes, Creighton is a big physical team and really took advantage of some miscues, obviously, of Lincoln Southeast. But they can learn from this game because the effort was there, the execution, and the continuity. The whole process was off. How many times have we seen Coach Catula burn 2 timeouts in the first quarter? As much, I've never seen it. We've always seen other teams do it because he's been able to play at this pace. And so I think they got a little bit of taste of their own medicine. I'm sure he doesn't look very happy right now, but they'll bounce back next week.
Once again, your final score 31-10. Junior Jays of Creighton Prep knock off the Lincoln Southeast Knights. The Southeast Knights will travel to Norfolk next Friday night, then to Millard South the following week. Millard South, by the way, in the news a little bit today. The NSAA found that they violated a bylaw in their game out in Vegas in game number 1 of the season. They had to forfeit that win. So Millard South officially 1-1 on the year. But that is a team that the Lincoln Southeast Knights will have to face off against in 2 weeks. For Creighton Prep, I mean, we talked about it, right? Jack Lammers, when you have a guy like Angelo Walker in the backfield and you can kind of pair him up with a guy like Jake Carney as the 2 running back force, you don't have to do anything spectacular at quarterback.
Yeah, but I think Coach Yonk is thinking, we need better play out of our senior quarterback. Yeah, we got Galladay over there who could be a matchup problem. We could throw it to number 41. Their tight end and fullback. We can get him going. So if we can get some intermediate passing game going, it could really open up the run holes. And we saw that when they got down inside the 20. They threw a 3-yard kind of a slant route. Then they came back with a 13-yard pass. Next thing you know, Walker scoring the next play. So there's, as much as I just talked about, Lincoln Southeast has a lot to work on and can improve on. I know the Creighton Prep Blue Jays and their staff, they're thinking we can do the same. And let me tell you something. If they get that running game going against anybody that's ranked higher than them, they are a problem because you will not run that ball against that defense. That's a big physical defensive line that has some depth, though. They go 4 or 5 guys and rotate them. They're always fresh, work very, very well coached. So you want to tip the hat to them.
Yeah, this was a matchup of two teams very familiar with postseason action. I mean, you look at Lincoln Southeast first. They've, as a school, been to the playoffs 36 times. They've made it 6 of the last 9 years. They've made it every year since 2018, 13 of the last 16 years. I mean, there's a lot of things for Southeast side. But then you look at it for Creighton Prep. They've made the postseason every single year since 1994. I said this in the pregame. They've only missed the postseason 3 times since 1976. Those 3 times came in 1990, 1992, and 1994. They haven't made the title. I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, right? But I mean, we're talking about 2 teams very familiar with postseason action. And once you get there, the ability to actually be there and know how to handle the moment is certainly a plus in the back pocket of whichever team you're talking about in that current situation. Once again, your final score from Seacrest, the Creighton Prep Junior Jays 31, the Lincoln Southeast Knights 10, a 21-point victory in favor of the Junior Jays as they improve and stay undefeated at 3-0, while the Lincoln Southeast Knights fall to 2-1 here in 2025. Just a reminder, join us for our A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show tomorrow as we get you ready for Nebraska versus Houston Christian. Jake Sorensen, Steve Sipple will kick things off at 8 a.m., while Jay and I will bring you some tailgate coverage at 8:30 a.m. And so make sure you stick around for that tomorrow morning as we get you ready for Nebraska versus Houston Christian. That's an 11 a.m. kickoff over at Memorial Stadium. For the Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman, thanks to Rudy back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios, Nick Sainert saying so long and putting a cap on week 3 of the high school football season on 93.7 The Ticket.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning. It's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here with Rudy Gress for your post-game scoreboards now. Going to take you through some more of the games that we might have missed earlier, didn't have a score on. So let's catch up on those, and we'll be able to send you on your way for tonight. Finishing 46-20, we had Riverside taking High Plains with the win there. We had Windside winning 58-16 against Newman Grove. We had Shelton losing 20-41 against Summer Eddyville Miller. We had Meridian beating Lewiston 30-14. We had Summerlin Co-op winning 55-0 against Madison. We had South Loop losing 22-26 against Perkins County. We had number 3 Wahoo winning 42-7 against Aurora. We had Gretna East winning 63-21 against Elkhorn. Norfolk with a dominant win of 41-13 over North Platte. We had Blue Hill just finish up against Giltner 82-6. We had Seward going into the fourth quarter right now, actually 27-14 against Pius. We have Papillion La Vista South winning 51-7 against Millard North. Ravenna 54-14 against Highline. Syracuse just finished 26-7 against Logan View. We had Papillion La Vista going into the fourth quarter as well, 23-12 against Lincoln Southwest right now. Also going into the third quarter, we have Omaha North, your 11th ranked team, going up 32-20 against Omaha Central. We have Wynot and Archangels Catholic 30-30 in overtime right now. Should be a good game to tune into. We have Lincoln Northeast 56-0 beating Benson. Gothenburg took the win 15-9 against Adams Central. Number 13, Boone Central with a 49-21 win against Battle Creek. Twin Loop 35-18 over Pleasanton. Valentine just finished up 42-0 against Gibbon. We have Omaha Westside with a final score beating Millard West 51-0. We have East Butler with a 50-20 win over Omaha Christian. St. Patrick's right now leading Kimball 51-8 in the fourth quarter. Millard South finished with a dominant win as well, 72-0 over Kearney. We have going into the second quarter, Hampton up 42-0 against Harvard, with South Sioux City and Bryan tied at 12-12 each going into the fourth quarter here. We have Chadron going up 20-13 in the third quarter against Mitchell. We have Pender up 42-8 against Clarkson. Concordia beating Louisville 32-0 right now. We have Creighton Prep, as you heard, with a final score of 31-10 over Lincoln Southwest. Wisner Pilger finishing with a 60-33 win over David City. We have Gross Catholic 41-0 over Nebraska City. We have Arlington beating Raymond Central 22-14. We have Sandy Creek with a 68-26 lead going into the fourth quarter against Alma right now. Fort Calhoun with a 43-8 win over Boys Town. Burke with a 1-point lead right now, 15-14 over Westview in the first quarter. And that is all we have for y'all tonight, actually. Other scores are being updated as the night goes on. Keep looking out for those. Make sure to join us tomorrow for our A1 Automotive pregame show as well. Tune in for some postgame stuff. And enjoy your weekend here with us. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Rudy Gress.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the